his first football opponent, and they said, we're going to be the Bulldogs.
They said, we like it. We'll be the Bulldogs. How about that?
Ole Miss stole their colors from Harvard and Yale, the blue and the red.
Really?
I won't say stole. I'll say out of respect. They use those. Alabama, crimson, like Harvard. That's the closest connections I can get us to the Ivy League.
Wow. I didn't know all of these coincidences, and how about I'm learning something new today.
Tributes.
How about that? Tributes, sure. Stole, tributes, whatever you want to call them.
I passed, and it was passed by Tiger fans headed this way today. They didn't come all the way to Montgomery like I did. They stopped in Birmingham, where I think it's going to be fun. I've got another theme this week on bingo at 442.
Okay, I'm excited for it.
Last week was all Tigers Chilean.
Yeah.
Tonight's going to be all the big three games in Alabama tomorrow. Tigers UAB, third Saturday in October, Ole Miss Auburn.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. I like you said, last week was all Tigers, so now state of Alabama. I'm excited.
From my favorite road hotel in the SEC, it really is, and a good friend of mine is retired from the Alabama State Retirement Fund. It is this hotel where I am in Montgomery is owned by the Alabama State Retirement Fund.
Really?
Yeah. So he always likes when I say it's my favorite hotel. But forever it was Auburn's hotel. The opposing team literally stayed across the street at the Embassy Suites. The night before those big Iron Bowl games, the two teams were 200 yards apart from each other.
You're kidding.
But Auburn quit staying here, I'm going to say around 2016 or 17, and started staying at Robert Trent Jones Golf Club. And so this being a little better than the Embassy Suites was great, though. I'm not knocking. It really was. And it was one of my favorites even before we moved to here. This is a little bit better, but Bryant, you and the listening audience, and the listening audience should know why it's my favorite.
Why is I know why it's your favorite.
The radio equipment. It's the only place I have found that connects flawlessly with our equipment. No, I'm not on the app. It's our equipment. Now, when I'm plugged into it, I have no TV, but I don't need TV from now to 6 o'clock.
No, you don't. I've never been.
You'll keep me up on the baseball.
I'll keep you up on it. But hey, it's after you said that, it's now become my favorite hotel, and maybe all of America, Brett. How about that? I mean,
it's a good one.
Yeah, so I definitely like it for that
and
reason.
It's within walking distance of great places to eat.
Really, got some good spots around.
Real good spots.
What kind of spots? Like what kind of food are we getting?
Look, we're used to good barbecue, but they got Dreamland here.
Okay.
And I like going and seeing how the runner-up does it to Memphis Barbecue.
Of course.
With Dreamland. If indeed it is, if it is the best now, but that's debatable if it's best, but it's really good, and I'm going there tonight. Wenzel's, a pretty famous seafood place, but chain place, but good, real good. Was there at lunch with a crew, and then tomorrow, easy drive over to Auburn, and one of my favorite places to go to a game, and don't know when we'll be back because not on the schedule next year, and don't know what 25 will look like for SEC scheduling, but I wouldn't think that they would send Ole Miss back down here in 25, having it been the road game the last time they played. Yeah. If we played in 25, I think it would be in Oxford. But unbelievably, next year, Alabama and Auburn not on Ole Miss's schedule anywhere.
Wow, that's hard to believe.
It really is, and the league saw fit to send us to both places on the road around 2011, 2013 or so.
Right.
Thank you, league.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, league. Well,
2 of the 4 road trips to the heart of the state of Alabama.
How about that? It should be a fun game tomorrow. That pregame starting at 4:00. We'll have it on our station here.
Gary and I get started at 4.
Yeah, get started in the afternoon. Speaking of listening, since you can listen to that game right here on Sports 56 tomorrow afternoon, how did the end of that Thursday night football game last night sound on the radio? I watched it, but I know you were listening to it.
It was wild, and then I heard the Al Michaels call. Now, the Thursday night crew was not as animated about the drop.
Right.
So then I saw the replay. And boy,
yeah.
it's just right in the clutches.
Right in his hands. Yeah, that was brutal. But that game, I mean, the ending of that game, from being up and really in control for the Jaguars, and then it coming down to that, and really everybody thinking that game would go to overtime. That was a really fun Thursday night game. We were kind of saying yesterday, like, this isn't the most exciting game, but it's not like the worst game you could have on Thursday night.
Good.
It's a decent game for a Thursday night, but it really lived up and was a really, really fun game to watch.
Now, the curmudgeon football guy in me will look at that box score and quickly say, you can't win throwing it 55 times, and the Saints didn't.
You're absolutely right, and so
but that's not why they lost.
That's not why they lost, but I mean that was a fun game, and with the Jaguars, that final drive they had, it was just a good back and forth game. I think the Jaguars probably woke up this morning and said that game shouldn't have been that close last night, but it was, and they found a way to win. Where the Saints they couldn't find a way to tie that game and take it into overtime.
And I touched on this closing last night about the dome, and it would be rocking, and it did. But I think it's lost some of its vibe, some of its energy.
Yeah.
But guess what? Here's the reason why. They haven't been as good. It's not the brick and mortar that makes a place tough. When Arkansas first opened Bud Walton Arena, they were unbeatable there because of those teams. Mm-hmm. When they had John Pelfrey as head coach, the teams weren't very good. The brick and mortar wasn't beating anybody.
You're right. So no, that was a fun game last night. And for the Jaguars, we talked about it yesterday as well. I mean, they needed that win with what they've got coming up on the schedule. I mean, it doesn't get easy after this for them for the next, I think, 2 out of the next 3 weeks, some pretty tough games. So they
that was
needed
a big
that
one.
That
was a big one, going on the road next week, and then open, then tough after that for a team that's really young but already seasoned.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They
already played in big games.
They have, and I mean, and plus they've had to go across the pond a couple of times this year, and I'm sure that's not easy, even though they're kind of used to it. They do it every year. Did you see the kind of breaking news earlier today from a golf standpoint? I know we haven't talked much golf lately, but Front Office Sports reported about an hour ago that the PGA Tour's merger with Live Golf is in serious doubt. They're being told from sources. There's been so little progress that extending the December 31st deadline would likely be pointless. So sounds like kind of after all of that talk we were having for months about this merger, that maybe it might fall apart before it even happens.
Well, it could, and I hadn't seen that. But this week, Phil Mickelson's been very chatty about just thinking it's going to be a mass exodus to Live next year.
Really? Interesting. They're playing right now. They're actually, I think, in Miami this weekend.
Live is?
Yeah. Let's actually
let's
do a little leaderboard check for Live. You're gonna have to give me a couple minutes.
Did we have picks?
No, unfortunately, we did not have picks. But I'm sure I can find a leaderboard, maybe somewhere. Let's see.
You might find a leaderboard much easier than you can, like TV coverage.
Oh, wow. Match play this weekend for
Shake
Live.
It up.
I didn't even know they did match play
no clue.
at Live. How about that? Something new. Anybody worth noting?
Are they playing as teams?
Brett, you're asking questions I did not have the answers to.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I can tell you, though, that Phil Mickelson and Brooks Koepka are going up against each other. What a match.
Could have been a formidable Ryder Cup team a few weeks ago, maybe.
Could have been. But Brooks Koepka 4-up on Phil right now. So, yeah, that's your Live update for the day. That's all I got, Brett.
I'll take Koepka every time over Phil.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that is the quarterfinals of match play going on today.
Okay.
So I guess if you're into Live,
are they playing at Trump Doral?
Brett,
in Miami.
Again, you're asking questions that I had already X'd out of it. Let's see.
I'm sorry.
They are. Yes, they are. They are. So, sure, why not? That's your Live talk for the day. If you came for Live, you're happy.
That's
today.
it.
I mean, that's all we got. That's all I got.
You had more than I had.
Yeah, well, I mean, not much, but no. So I do think that is interesting. I just saw that earlier today, and
I did see the news today, and I love how the picture is now everywhere of the Michigan assistant.
Oh yeah,
accused and embroiled as the centerpiece of the controversy. and I love how they have the picture and it highlighted on all the pictures going around like it's a picture of Sasquatch.
That's right. That's right. They got him like circled and like so everybody knows. All right, that's him. Put him on a billboard. If he comes to your team.
Tell me, people out there, if you did this today, when you saw that picture, you click on, you superimpose, because I'm thinking, it's going to be a guy sitting up in the stands, maybe in Wisconsin, paraphernalia, being really clandestine, surreptitious on the. He's on the sideline at the Michigan-Ohio State game last year.
Yeah,
what's the controversy in that?
That's a good question. I mean, every single picture I've seen him is been on the sidelines. I've not seen one picture of him. Maybe that another team took a picture of him and sent him to Michigan.
They were so smart to hide him out on their sideline, but yet be stealing signals at road games at the same time. This is the biggest nothing ever. This is how hated the Big Ten coaches hate Harbaugh.
Brett, I will have to give him credit though, because I mean that's how you do it. If you're gonna steal signs and have somebody going out to steal signs, what better way than to have them on the sidelines during your game? I mean, what a better alibi. I mean, that's how you do it.
I won't say what Big 12 team it is, but I know of a Big 12 place that sends people out to, like, the week before. Let's say School A is playing School B, and representative of School C is playing School B next week. They send
a lot of letters.
It really is. They send that person almost as an embed on a Wednesday or Thursday into said town to mix and mingle and just see what you can hear and pick up and roll around campus in that school's gear like he's one of them.
Yeah. And
then up in the stands, just making you can make all the notes you want. Everybody knows you can make all the notes you want to on your phone and video at Cecil B. DeMille quality and go back home and do the report.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, what's so funny to me is this whole story, everything about it is like so high school football to me, because that was like always the controversy in high school football is like, oh, you see up there in the stands, that's Bartlett's assistant coach up there. We're playing him next week. They're here scouting us and stuff. So I mean,
which has been done forever.
Everybody does it, and I love it so much that now for some reason this is
it is very high school.
It's
Brian,
so
that is
high school,
almost junior high.
It really is. It really is, because I mean that's the only time I've ever experienced like coaches getting visibly mad on the sidelines of like they're here scouting us next week, and then someone's like, well, let's throw him out, and then the other coach is like, there's nothing we can do about it. He paid a ticket. I mean, he's just here to watch the game. What are we gonna do? Kick him out? And I mean, that's just what seems like this is some coaches, the Rutgers assistant coach looking up, look, that's a Michigan assistant up there watching our game. I mean, it's hilarious.
I heard Danny Cannell on the drive down today on with Pat Smith and Landrum Roberts on the 3-man front on Jocks, and he was telling the story that he knows often of assistant coaches that have, it's so cross-pollinated in college football. Everybody's worked or played at the other place and know a lot of different people, that he knows of a lot of instances where maybe not the day of the game, but in that off season when they're out recruiting, they see each other, go, hey, you got to change your keys or your signal guy. We had every one of your signs by the end of the first quarter.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, and I think we were talking to Bill Bender yesterday about it, and he kind of said the same thing. I mean, like, it all goes back to kind of baseball, of like, that's always the baseball conversation of like, if your signs are easy, teams are going to steal them, and that's fair game. I mean, you gotta switch them up, and so I mean, I think the same thing for this in football. If your signs are just stale and the same and easy to pick up on, that's your fault.
I promise you, I thought of that conversation, that dialogue we had yesterday, especially driving through the state of Alabama, the home state of the great Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, and in Peter, in the Peter Burns, not Peter Burns. What was the PBS guy that did the great baseball special? Not Peter Burns. He's on ESPN Network.
Hold on.
Golly, I can't think of his name. But in his great special on PBS on baseball, he had George Will as one of the commentators, as one of the narrators, as one of the kind of the guests. What was his name that did the baseball special on PBS? I can't think of it. But anyway, he said that Willie Mays was so smart. He was so smart in the dugout and as a player that if he got on base in the first at bat, in the first inning or so, that if he got to second, he had everything decoded. If he didn't get on base, he had everything by the fifth inning.
Really? That's incredible.
He was that smart.
Wow. That's remarkable. I mean, that's only he could do that, I guess. I mean, that's incredible to hear. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. Before I get to that, I will say Paul texts in and says it's the Live Team Championship this weekend in Miami.
Thank you, Paul.
So Paul, he's keeping close tabs on
Paul.
Live.
Keep us up to date, Paul.
Please,
you be our correspondent.
Please, Paul, because I'm not keeping up with Live, so I need somebody else keeping up with Live to keep me in line. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from CBS Sports Digital, also the executive producer of The Early Edge, will join us. We'll talk some wagering with him, get his picks for the weekend in both college football and the NFL. 3:45, we'll break down this Tigers versus UAB football game tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. We'll also take a look at the slate in the AAC. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BamSports.net will join us. We'll talk some more wagering with him, get his picks for both college football and the NFL for the weekend. We've also, can't forget, Brett, we got to ask him about totals with that total for Iowa sitting down at 30.5. We got to ask him, because he's the historian on all of this, we got to ask him what's the lowest, what's the highest totals he remembers seeing for a game. 4:30, we'll get into the SEC, and we'll also get into our college football and NFL bingo cards for the weekend. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas will join us to talk Razorbacks and the SEC. We'll get out with Ty. And then about 5:20, Charles Hall from Hewitt and Dunn. We tell you every single day about Hewitt and Dunn. They're a 5 o'clock sponsor every single afternoon. He's going to join us for a couple of minutes. Tell us about Hewitt and Dunn and everything they've got going on out in Collierville. 5:30, we'll get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up the show. We'll wrap up the week with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The Overstock Sale. Help Family Leisure clear out their overstock inventory. Select patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms under $2,000. Extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Winter pool closing items up to 30% off. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 of their in-stock items. They've also got saunas, massage chairs, arcades, and theater seating with all free delivery. And the special financing is still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Good friend of mine texted me. Thank you so much. It was Ken Burns on that PBS special. He's on all those Civil War. He did all those, and it was fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Chad. I appreciate that. We are Sports Time, and we are with you until 6 o'clock. He's Brian. I'm Brett, and you can contact us as our Live correspondent did at 901-360-8255. We want your text. Please hit up 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673 and drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day was going to be the weekend of football, both college football and the NFL. But with the more and more information we're getting about this Michigan situation, I'm going to I'm going to go differently than what I originally had planned, and I'm going to go with this Michigan situation. I've been hearing more and more reports, more reporters talking about this situation. I heard Pete Thamel earlier today on ESPN was asked about it and was talking about it, and he said for him as a journalist, once he heard the Big Ten was involved in this, that's really when the alarms went off for him, because as he said, the Big Ten does not want, and I should say he was at Ohio State when he was saying this, their second biggest brand, because Ohio State's number one in front of all of those Ohio State fans he was in front of. The Big Ten wouldn't want their second biggest brand to go down like that. So he said maybe there is something there if the Big Ten is investigating it like they are. Ross Dellinger from Yahoo tweeted out earlier saying for a year, Big Ten coaches have known about the Michigan analyst pictured below, who they say spearheaded UM's alleged sign stealing system. But Brett, again, like you said, the problem I have with this, and I think they've suspended that assistant coach with this investigation going on. But like you said earlier, it seems like every picture I see has him on the sideline during a Michigan game. I'll believe it more when I see a picture of him in the stands somewhere, him at an away game for another team, scouting like they say he is. Maybe it's just a good cover-up job by Michigan. Maybe we're digging a little too deep into something that really there isn't much there. But I'm sure we'll get more and more information about this as the weeks come on. But it's certainly going to put a cloud. I don't know what kind of cloud it will put on, but people will be talking about this tomorrow during that big rivalry game between Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah, and you got both of the shows really there, Big Noon and Game Day, so they're going to have to touch on it. I know Desmond Howard's going to love being questioned about that, and I know the treatment by the Ohio State fans of him when he's there at Game Day, that's just going to add fuel to it.
Yeah.
But I need to see a picture of this person at Camp Randall Stadium.
Yeah.
I need to see him at the Gopher Stadium in Minneapolis. I need to see him at the Horseshoe when they're playing Penn State.
Yeah.
Instead, right now they're making him out to be Umbrella Man in Dealey Plaza, and I just don't think it's all that. My top story is this college football weekend starting tomorrow morning early to late. From 11 o'clock, Penn State at Ohio State, Tigers at UAB. The Gus Bus, it parks in Norman tomorrow for the Big 12 game between UCF and OU at 2:30, UT at Bama. Houston hosting Texas in a league game. It's been a while for those two teams to meet in a league game, and it won't ever happen again. This is the one shot of Houston playing Texas in a league game again the rest of eternity, and that is a really long time. And then at night it's good with Ole Miss at Auburn. How good is Ole Miss? Auburn isn't very good. We'll see tomorrow just how good Ole Miss is in the Hugh Freeze versus Lane Kiffin game. Duke at Florida State. It's not Mike Krzyzewski against Leonard Hamilton. It's Mike Elko versus Mike Norvell. Utah at USC late in the Michael Penix Show at about 9:30. Stuck somewhere in all that, the Obscurity Bowl. Clemson and the U just kind of playing the game because the tickets were printed.
Not top story of the day.
Low blow on Clemson and the U, Brett. Low blow. But you pretty much covered it with college football there. So my not top story, the NFL, the weekend in the NFL. We had a really fun game last night between the Jaguars and the Saints, and it was really the Saints defense that stepped up and made some stops to keep them in that game. If you're watching last night, or if you go back and look at the box score, early in that game, the Saints really couldn't get much going, and settled for a handful of field goals early in that game. But that defense, they stood strong. They came up with some stops when the Jaguars really came out hot and scored early a couple times and looked like they were really rolling. But the Saints get some stops. They have a big fourth quarter, scoring 15 points to come back and make it a game. The Jaguars end up on their final drive going down and scoring. The Saints had one more opportunity, but just couldn't make anything happen, and they fall short and lose, dropping to 3-4. The Jaguars improve to 5-2. But when you look at this weekend in the NFL, there should be some really good games, but we talk about clouds over a team, clouds over a weekend. All of the injuries with some of these star players in the NFL, that's going to be a big storyline going into Sunday. What players are able to play, what players are out, how will that affect those teams? And it's going to be something to keep a close eye on Sunday.
my not top story is tomorrow with the Tigers at UAB. Doesn't feel like it did this time last week with the big home game against Tulane, but it's just as important, maybe more important now because of that loss. A win, and I think everything will be well, or at least okay. There's some that are so indifferent about this Tiger team. I don't know that winning really jazzes them up that much. But a loss, we know what that'll do. It'll spark a big freak-out factor, maybe like we haven't seen in the Ryan Silverfield years. Last Friday night, the crowd was lean. It just was. But tomorrow, with a win, I don't know what the crowd's going to be like when they finally get back home on November 4th. But a loss tomorrow, then whatever happens at North Texas, won't be many people out there for the USF game, and that will speak loudly. I don't think the Tigers will lose tomorrow, but it's going to be close all day.
I think you're right. I mean, that UAB team has shown a lot. They're steadily improving as the year is going on under Trent Dilfer. We'll talk a little bit more about that game later on in the hour, but that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some wagering with Alan Bell.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Old school jewelry stores here in Memphis don't like what Genesis Diamonds is doing, but regular folks here are asking what took Genesis so long to get here. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis Diamonds is a game changer. More selection, higher quality, extreme value prices like you never knew existed, top designers, non-commission experts, and ironclad warranties. Genesis is the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. The owners are Tennesseans. They've dominated the jewelry scene in Nashville for nearly 20 years. Their store here at Poplar and Perkins Extended will blow your mind. Diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings, colored gemstone jewelry. It's a jewelry superstore with no pressure, no games, and no phony pricing. Also, you've got to see their amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Pristine watches in pristine condition, value priced. They have all the hard-to-find models in stock. So what are you waiting for? Hit up Genesis Diamonds in Poplar Commons at Poplar and Perkins Extended. You're going to thank me for this.
Ready to unlock your home's potential? A huge sale has up to 50% off retail at Everything's Yours Appliances with 2 convenient locations in Mississippi, 7095 Hacks Cross Road, Olive Branch, and 8478 Highway 178 West in Visalia. Invest in new appliances knowing you got a great deal. Everything's Yours Appliances has no credit financing available with low down payment and delivery. Everything's Yours Appliances has all major appliances and name brands. Hurry to Everything's Yours Appliances, where customers are number one.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings & Grill.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500, G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Let's make some money. It's time for Wagering Talk with Alan Bell from CBS Sports. Alan is the executive producer of Early Edge, part of CBS Sports Digital, and on Twitter X at Alan G. Bell. Here's Alan with Bryant and Brett.
We're trying to catch up with Alan Bell, and we will, from CBS Digital and the Early Edge. Trying to catch up him now. Can't wait to get his thoughts on the Jim Harbaugh story that is taking college football by storm. And I think the consensus out there, and it probably wouldn't take much more to send him running back into an NFL owner's arms, and this will only speed it up because, at odds with the NCAA over cheeseburgers, now over this, and unless there's more to it than what they have so far. These pictures of him on a Michigan sideline at road games, and I can tell one of those pictures was at the Ohio State game last year because I can see the uniforms they had on. I can see Ohio State logoed fandom very close, right behind them. I wasn't sitting too far from that area. I did not see him when I was there last year, but I so far I don't think it's a lot, but I do think it's again illustrative to see the Pete Thamels, and he invoked in, the big J of journalism. I see Pete Thamel. I see Dan Wetzel. I see a lot of the big college football writers rushing to believe every semicolon of this story, of the most negative aspect of it. Why, I don't know. And you do not see this reaction when it's the college basketball story. Never. But the college football writers rushing to help dig the hole for Jim Harbaugh and bury him in Michigan in it. I never see the glee of the college basketball commentariat like the college football people out there rushing to it. I don't think they should rush to defend. I think you should rush to tell the story. But they're all, I think, the slant has been believe everything that's coming out from sources leaked otherwise by Big Ten and other people around college football.
Well, that's a really good point by you, because really, no matter how you see this situation or really what you think about any of it, it's just a completely different of how college basketball, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong or one way is better than the other, but college basketball and the way college football is covered by journalists from ESPN, by journalists from Yahoo, from The Athletic, from all these places is so much different. I mean, I was talking yesterday or the day before, whenever I brought up about Bob Huggins, when I forgot who was talking about him. Jeff Goodman was interviewing Frank Martin about him, and he called him Hugs. Yeah, well,
Hugs.
we're really pulling for Hugs and all that stuff. Like, I mean,
I think most people want him to get well,
absolutely,
and to do well, but it is so much more.
Yes.
It's so much more charitable. It's so much more hospitable.
It's the nicknames and the we're friends, we're boys, that sort of thing.
And I would bet you Harbaugh doesn't have Jim Harbaugh doesn't have a single college football insider in his hip pocket. And you know why?
Why?
He doesn't care.
Oh yeah, not at all. And I think you're absolutely right. I've heard you say it. I've heard other people kind of start saying it of like, I mean, we've thought for a couple years now that Jim Harbaugh was going to have enough of college football and go back to the NFL. But now, after having to spend 4 games away from his team because of a suspension, and now whatever comes down from this, I think even if this doesn't resolve in anything, just the kind of the poking and digging around his program, why would he not go back to the NFL? And there'd be a team that would hire him just like that.
And just about anybody at Michigan with the the playoffs coming, just about any decent coach in Michigan, okay, maybe Brady Hoke wouldn't have, or maybe Rich Rod. That's a couple.
Yeah.
So maybe not any, but most Michigan coaches will be able to do enough to be somewhere in that playoff picture.
Sure.
So if he left, Michigan's not bankrupt. They're not out of the football business, but he's done them a really good job. It took a while before he finally beat Ohio State. Now he's defeated them 2 years in a row, and I think they and probably Georgia are a little bit ahead of the rest of college football. I don't know if Georgia's quite that as much with Brock Bowers now out. But how about Harbaugh in Los Angeles with Justin Herbert? I mean,
man.
if he could really get the best out of him, because so far Justin Herbert, what he's done is kind of be that fantasy football quarterback. A lot of big numbers, but not a lot of wins, not a lot of big wins. He kind of beats the littles and not so much against the bigs. And another thing that Jim Harbaugh did when he was head coach of the 49ers, he saw the value in and got the very best football in professional football anybody ever got out of Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, absolutely. And we remember that run that
they moved on from Alex Smith doing it.
Sure did. And so, I would love that. I mean, you look at the weapons that the Chargers have, not just Justin Herbert, but what they have at receiver, what they have at running back. And yeah, I mean, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, if that job comes open, I mean, why would I not want to put my name into that and give the NFL another go?
And there are other places.
Oh, absolutely.
What if the Cowboys moved on from Mike McCarthy? Now, it doesn't feel like that would be the most dynamic fit of Jim Harbaugh, a very strong personality with Jerry Jones, but that's almost been the case with a lot of coaches. But if Bill Parcells and Mike McCarthy can work for you, I think Jim Harbaugh could. His beloved Bears.
Oh yeah, then that could be a very real opening in the next couple of months, especially when the season's done. So I think you look around the NFL, I think there's going to be several places that are open, and I don't think Jim Harbaugh is just going to take whatever's out there to get away from college football. But I think if the job's right, like you said, his beloved Bears, if it's maybe a team like the Chargers where he's got maybe a quarterback, maybe an offense that he feels like he can work with, maybe the Cowboys if things go south and they feel like they need to make a coaching change, maybe a team that you think has all the pieces to be a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I think he's already thought very seriously about making that jump back to the NFL, and I know a lot of teams would take him, and so I mean, we're going to get the talk no matter what, but I think this time it could be very serious.
Even some reports a few years ago that he was fishing, that he was trying to get back to the NFL, where his brother John is really one of the distinguished old guard coaches of the NFL. I'm going to have to look and make sure, but I'm going to say John Harbaugh right now in current NFL seniority, 3rd or 4th in the league. 3rd.
Wow.
Belichick 1, Tomlin 2, John Harbaugh 3, Pete Carroll 4, Andy Reid 5. in current job.
It's incredible. I mean,
got hired by the Ravens in 2008.
I mean, I knew just for that alone, I knew he was up there. But it's impressive what he's done, and you never hear any talk about, well, maybe it's time for the Ravens to move on.
Never.
And you don't hear any of that. I mean, consistent,
solid
as it can
organization
get.
as it is.
Oh, absolutely.
And his one Super Bowl he got was against his brother.
That's right.
In Super Bowl 47 in New Orleans, and that week it was fun. It was first Super Bowl that I got to go to for this radio station. It was so much fun, and to see the difference between the two Harbaughs all week. John was so much more laid back than Jim. I mean, he was just in a knot all week. I thought he coached a little like it, especially in that first half, and then late in the game. Michael Crabtree has one. I basically go through his hands, or the 49ers win.
You're absolutely. That was a fun game, and
Kaepernick played great.
He played unbelievably, and just the fact that you put that game with, like you said, the brother versus brother made it a very compelling Super Bowl. One of my favorites that I remember. And
their parents were around all week, and the mom, her personality seemed very much like John Harbaugh's, the Ravens coach. And the dad's personality seemed very hardwired like Jim Harbaugh's personality.
Really? So yeah. That's hilarious.
You could really sense that from those two. And a real fun game. And I showed you a picture of me with Chris Carter.
Yeah.
That's when Chris Carter was saying back then, he starts his franchise then with Colin Kaepernick. That's how good Cap was in those years.
Really? Wow. That's and he was. I mean, you just watch him and you could see the talent. And also, Jim Harbaugh's sister and John Harbaugh's married to Tom Crean. And
that's right.
When Georgia was here to play Memphis, he was with that team, and she you can tell she grew up with the Harbaugh brothers.
Okay, somebody within earshot that day told me that she definitely got the more of the Jim and the dad personality trait.
Certainly did, 100%.
That Danny Hurley might have even blushed in her presence.
Yeah, that was back. I think that was. I think I was a sophomore.
That was Anthony Edwards.
It was, and I was doing radio, and. You could hear her on our broadcast, and I kept looking over there like.
Was it going through your broadcast?
I think some of it might have gotten through.
Was it magic words?
I don't remember any that really jumped off the page to me, but I'm sure something. And I just kept looking over and was like, who is this lady? And then somebody told me, yeah, that's Tom Crean's wife. And then someone else told me, yeah, she's also Jim and John Harbaugh's sister. I go, oh, it makes sense. Everything makes sense now.
Brian, if I remember correctly, that was the first Saturday of the new calendar year, and that was the day that DJ Jeffries was a late scratch because of the flu. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. I remember it being a loss. I remember Georgia winning that game.
And somebody told me later, and we know what hit the world a month and a half later.
Oh, wow.
Somebody told me later they think that DJ Jeffries might have had kind of the first strains of COVID.
Interesting. Wow.
Remember, he was a late scratch that day.
Yeah, you know what? Now I'm starting to think about it. I do kind of remember that.
And now, most everything you read, and I mean, you can find it almost any publication you want.
Sure.
I mean, COVID was here fall of 2019. It was here October, November, December of 2019.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the year Memphis went and played Penn State in the Cotton Bowl, and
that was that year.
It was that year, and it was before. It was that March after was when everything kind of hit. And I remember my buddy calling me. He didn't go to that game, but he went to a hockey game in Texas. I think that was at the Cotton Bowl, maybe outside, like one of their Winter Series games. And he came back and he was like, "I'm sick as a dog. I don't know what I have. They're saying it might be the flu, but they don't know." And yada yada yada. And then a year later, he was like, "Yeah, it was 100% COVID."
Same here. Ole Miss had a really, really late open date that year, and in fact, the open date fell the week before Thanksgiving. And Ole Miss and Memphis played in basketball, and I went to the game and had never felt like that in my life. And went to the doctor on Tuesday, and he said, "I don't know what's wrong with you." I
don't know what's wrong.
It's not coming back as flu or pneumonia, and I had never felt like that in my life, and that was the early I think, the early strains of it.
I think you're right. That day, Memphis versus Georgia, Precious Achua, your leading scorer with 20 points.
DJ was a scratch, right?
He was, yeah. DJ did not play in that game.
And the story was later told to me they think that's what was wrong with him.
Wow, I believe it. That's interesting, though. Well, we weren't able to catch up with Alan Bell today.
We hate it. Alan's always reliable. I hate it.
Sure is.
And I haven't heard anything back from him. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, no, but we'll catch up with him next Friday and get back on schedule. But let's go ahead, get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about this Tigers UAB game. We'll also look at the slate in the AAC. That's next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey everybody, Chevy truck season, it's here. And if you're ready for a new Silverado, All-Star Chevrolet, right here in Olive Branch has deals that are spot on to save you money. And let's be real, your good credit deserves it. Financing as low as $0. No payment for 90 days. That could be next year. Plus, you get $1,000 in cash, and All-Star has all the Silverados. Fall road trips, tailgating, Thanksgiving, Christmas, timing could not be better. So come to Olive Branch and drive a new Tahoe or Traverse. And if it's a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned you want, All-Star is loaded up. Camaro convertibles, Suburbans, Lexuses. If it's not here, just ask Jeff and he will find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin told me to thank all of you who are bringing your cars and trucks here to sell. You could get a check today for some crazy good money. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Carterville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty conquest rebate 500, G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015 137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo, Saturday, October 21st, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We'll be taking applications and interviewing candidates on site. Salary starting at $54,611, increasing to $60,713 after probation. Benefits include a $15,000 sign-on bonus, up to $10,000 relocation assistance. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and we got to talk about this Tigers versus UAB game tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on ESPN2 if you're not making the trip down to Birmingham. Well, Brett, I think the biggest storyline for this team after this far into the season, I guess I should say, has been the slow starts. And a lot of people have their takes on what the slow starts have come from. And we asked Greg about it yesterday. I was talking with Dave about it today. And I've heard a lot of Seth Hennigan was just really amped up last week against Tulane. But there's been slow starts all season. I mean, there has not been one game this year that the Tigers have gotten off to a fast start. And I think tomorrow, against a UAB team that's in year one of their head coach, I think they're going into every game saying, let's get better. And I think that could be dangerous when you're talking about a team that hasn't had a good chance hasn't done a good job of starting off fast. You could look up and you could be down to a UAB team that's sitting at, 2-5 right now?
Yeah, and that just doesn't even pretend to play any defense. And We're talking a guy with, 30 college starts and going into the biggest game, 2 amped up. I mean, as a freshman or, big game into your sophomore year, it's time to be moving away from that. And that's why it is not top story. I don't think it's any time to hit any fire alarms or the panic button on anything. But we know what the reaction is going to be with a loss tomorrow. What I'm scared of with the Tigers after seeing, trying to be kind, a very lean crowd last Friday night, I don't know that if winning rings many chimes.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know, but I think
indifference is really scary.
Yes, but a win is certainly better than coming back to a loss.
It is. That's the object. It's like the Kirk Ferentz.
That's right. That's right. So
outline.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting game, and you mentioned that defense. I mean that UAB defense, while the offense is fun to watch at times, that defense is not. And so I think this could be a good opportunity for the Tigers to get out there. I said with Dave this morning, I think if you go down there and you win the toss, I think if you're Ryan Silverfield, you say give us the ball first. Let's start aggressive.
Let's get aggressive.
And let's try to go down and put some points on the board early. And I think tomorrow you've got a great opportunity to do that.
And I asked Greg this yesterday, does he know of any reticence to really let Seth Hennigan go, to let him go early, or is the coaching staff, is Ryan Silverfield, are they scared that if he got out there and was a turnover machine early, that against a lot of teams it would be maybe too big of a hole to come back from? UAB's not one of those. But at quarterback tomorrow in Birmingham, that's as good a quarterback matchup as last Friday night was.
Yeah, no, you're right. The UAB quarterback has been very impressive, and I think a transfer from Baylor, and I think has been getting better with every start at UAB. I think he's getting more comfortable in that system, getting comfortable with what Trent Dilfer wants. And that's the thing. When you have Trent Dilfer as your head coach, I think going forward at UAB, if he sticks around and can find some success, he's not going to have any problems getting quarterbacks in there. I think there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that will want to play for Trent Dilfer, and I think he'll get a lot of offensive weapons. I think the question is how will he be able to recruit defensively? But I'm excited about this game tomorrow. I know a lot of people might not be, but I really am interested to see what the Tigers can do.
The Tigers a decided road favorite in this one. It starts tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. And with a win, get to 5-2 next week at North Texas. If they're 7-point favorite at UAB, they'll at least be that or more at North Texas. Easy chance or favorable to get to 6-2 before you get back home on November 4th against South Florida. I mean, if 7-2 doesn't get some people excited that I've heard forever, they want to see a winner. Well, by any definition, 7-2 is a winner.
That's a winner. You're absolutely right. So we'll see what happens with the Tigers tomorrow at UAB. Last night we did have a game in the American. Rice beat Tulsa pretty handily, 42-10. Tonight we've got SMU versus Temple on ESPN, and then tomorrow outside of Memphis UAB, Air Force at Navy, Charlotte at East Carolina, North Texas at Tulane, South Florida at UConn, UTSA at Florida Atlantic. So it should be a fun day in the American. But let's wrap up this hour. When we come back, we'll talk some wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
If you want a deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, because we've got Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days still going strong. If you're looking to save up to $12,000 off a new ride, we Gossett covered. Right now, take your pick. 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit 4-wheel drive or 2023 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon 4x4, $12,000 off MSRP. And 2023 Wagoneer L Series 111 4x4, $10,000 off MSRP. And if we don't have what you're looking for, Gossett can order it today. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike, or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Wagoneer PS5 64,158, MSRP 117,430. Cherokee P8876, 88.9, MSRP 80,205. Gladiator PL 509,834, MSRP 68,815. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Of course, 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, has hands down the best steaks in Memphis, and the selection of other entrees rivals any restaurant in town. But let's just take a second to talk about appetizers, the beginning of every great meal. 117 Prime offers perfectly sliced Mishima Wagyu beef carpaccio, lobster salad with cold water lobster knuckle, mussels in red curry. Mouth-watering yet? All these wonders are there to start your meal at 117 Prime. Imagine where it will go from there.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep.
That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We see the fire department on the scene of this accident slowing down traffic flow over here on 40 eastbound at Abilene. It was doing so well over here until this happened. Now it's really slow between Sycamore View Road and Abilene on 40 going eastbound because of this crash. A lot of rubbernecking involved in this as well. 240 getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. That has really picked up just in the last few minutes. If you get hurt in a car crash, call 901 Attorneys right here in Memphis. They're online at 901attorneys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joining us from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Excited to get into all the football for the weekend, but I do have this baseball game that's about to start pulled up, Astros versus Rangers. So, Bruce, before we get to any football, what have you made of the postseason this year in Major League Baseball?
A little inside out, but that's sort of, for the Astros, that's sort of the way it went this year. I mean, it's hard to believe this team, 39-42 at home, 51-30 on the road. It's played out that way in the playoffs. They're 1-3 at home, 4-0 on the road. Thus far, this series looks a lot like the 2019 World Series when Houston lost the first two at home, won the next three at Washington, and then lost the last two at home. Home field has not mattered. And Verlander's pitched pretty well in the postseason here. Houston got to look at Montgomery. Montgomery looked good earlier in the series. He had a little bumpy outing at Baltimore. But I'm going to play this trend and give Houston another look here. Now, I don't know if they're going to be able to carry this through at home. That's how inside out this season has been for them. But today, on the road, I'll take them.
I like it. So the Astros today on the road, they've looked much better on the road than at home really all year,
that
like
is
you
weird.
said. That is very weird.
Because batting last should really matter, shouldn't it, Bruce?
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, we've seen this before from Houston, though, and it's sort of confounding because it goes against normal principles here. But, I mean, I'll tell you, when a team on the road, I actually backed them the last couple nights, and I just, this team in this spot, I like them. I don't know that if they win tonight, I'm not sure today, I'm not sure I'm going to do it in game 6 and 7 with them, though, but for whatever reason, they seem to play better on the road.
Wow.
Bruce, this story out of Michigan, they're almost making this guy out to be one of the Watergate burglars. I mean, this guy's like E. Howard Hunt or somebody. So far, the only pictures of him is something really controversial like him on a sideline at Michigan.
Yeah, this is a weird story here, and sign stealing and all that. And we think, the Astros built Belichick years ago doing it. And this is weird. I mean, Harbaugh's denied it, and who knows this fellow's supposedly doing it. It's just so off the wall, and I almost think it's like silly season now. You just plant one of these stories out there, and somebody did this, and hoping maybe to make it a distraction for Michigan. I can't envision that there's much to this thing or not, but we'll see if it's a distraction. I mean, it's the home stretch is coming up for Michigan, not necessarily tomorrow, a game they should win against a really struggling Michigan State, but they still got Penn State and Ohio State to come. So maybe somebody's hoping this distracts Michigan. We'll see.
We'll see tomorrow morning at the Horseshoe in Columbus. Third-ranked Ohio State, a 5-point favorite at home over Penn State. It's time for James Franklin to win one of these games, and we say that about every year, and he still hadn't won any of them.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the last time he beat Ohio State was 2016, early in his tenure, so that's 7 years ago. And that was the one big year he had at Penn State. He's had some other good years. And they're on a nice streak. I mean, 13 in a row since mid-last season, and they haven't lost a spread decision in that stretch either. But, I mean, the schedule has broken pretty well for them. I don't think beating Iowa at home was really that much of an achievement. They did struggle some at Illinois, and there's one semi-serious road test thus far. So this is obviously Drew Aller's biggest test yet. My feeling on Ohio State is, I mean, if we're going to get the Buckeyes, you might have had to get them, unless you're Michigan, you maybe had to get them the first half of September, because the last month or so they have really picked up the pace, and McCord looks a lot more confident. I think it was that Notre Dame game, and in retrospect, looking back, I mean, his poise under pressure, I mean, he looked totally unflappable in the last drive there of the game, and you can't really coach that. I mean, it's just either got it or you don't. So I'm sure Ryan Day was really happy. Obviously, what happened in that game, and since then they've kept rolling. Purdue ain't all that bad, and they made Purdue look pretty weak last week. So I think, once again, until James Franklin wins one of these within recent memory against the big boys, the Big Ten, these guys in particular, I'm not taking Penn State. 31-21 Ohio State. I'll lay the short price with the Bucks tomorrow at the Horseshoe.
I like it. Ohio State at home. All right, Bruce, here locally, the Tigers are on the road down in Birmingham against UAB, but Memphis, a 7-point favorite on the road. I remember last year you talked a lot about the Tigers on the road and some struggles they had in road games. What do you like between Memphis and UAB tomorrow in Birmingham?
Well, I want to know if they refound that old trophy, the Bone.
Sure did.
Oh
yeah.
They did. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the bone is back up for grabs here.
Bones, plural. 91 pounds of bones, Bruce.
Man, it is like that is some kind of trophy for the game. The UAB last week, I don't know. I mean, I seem to be zigging and zagging the wrong way with these guys. I was really down on them early when this whole Dilfer hire thing I thought was kind of way out of left field. Then they started to play better, and I thought Dilfer had a pretty good idea of his offense, what to do. And then last week, it was just they sort of reverted back last week. This defense is not great, and the Roadrunners made them pay for that last week. Memphis has played a little bit better lately on the road. Early on, certainly in the Silverfield run here, it was obviously treacherous for Memphis to play out on the road. They've done a little bit better with that lately. And I don't think, the Tulane and the Missouri losses, I mean, these are teams that are probably, 18 to 25 ranked in the country. So I don't think that I'm going to downgrade Memphis too much for those. These are the sort of teams they can beat. Silverfield should have a field day against this defense. Higher scoring, maybe it'll go over there, but I think Memphis is probably the side to look at. 40 to 28 Tigers. I think they'll outscore them down there in that new stadium in Birmingham.
Let's keep it in the state of Alabama. Go a little bit southwest from where they're playing at Protective Field to Bryant-Denny Stadium, third Saturday in October in Tennessee, trying to make it 2 in a row over the Mighty Tide. Got the win last year, celebrated wildly. They should have after breaking that long streak. Bama -9 in the cigar game in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and I think, 52-49 last year, what a shootout that was. I don't think they'll score half that many points tomorrow. It's just different year, different offenses. We've talked about Bama. This is more of an old-fashioned Coach Saban team. I mean, it's not like Bryce Young or Tua or Mac Jones throwing the ball all over the yard. Milroe is more effective throwing 20, 25 times per game. He did more than that the game they couldn't run at A&M. But generally, that's what they do, and run the football and use their defense, and hope Milroe doesn't make mistakes. He's done a good job of avoiding that, although the passing game is not all that consistent, as we saw the second half against Arkansas last week. I guess the matchup here I want to see is that cheetah defensive package of Tennessee that really brings pressure. One of the top quarterback sack defenses in the country. Alabama's up there, too. But we saw what they did to Max Johnson last week, really disrupted A&M. And against Milroe, who's got some wheels, we'll see how this works out. I think the whole key here is if Tennessee avoids mistakes, they can stay close. And I'm not 100% sure Joe Milton's capable of doing that. I mean, he has really blown hot and cold this year. But there is some big playability on that offense, and the running game has been good. But I think the total is where I would look here, and probably an under. We're seeing high 40s in the total. I don't think it gets that high. Look at these Bama score lines here, especially the last couple of weeks. We had these two against A&M and Arkansas. You have the Ole Miss game that only went 34. South Florida game only went 20 before that. That was the game no Ole Miss. But under was my first call there. 24-19 my score for Bama to win, maybe not cover, but I think under is probably a better call there.
And that would get you there, and you got two incredible athletes at quarterback, but I don't know if you have two good quarterbacks playing tomorrow between Milroe and Joe Milton.
Yeah, that's right. And Milton's a big guy too. He doesn't. When you look at him, he doesn't quite stand, but he's 6'5" and 240, so he doesn't mind getting out there and running. He's like Anthony Richardson size almost. But
like KJ Jefferson.
The passing has been erratic though for Tennessee, and that's the difference between this offense and the Hooker offense last year.
Well, we've done 2 games in the state of Alabama. Let's stay in Alabama for Saturday night. Ole Miss travels down to Jordan-Hare Stadium to take on Auburn. Right now, Ole Miss a 6.5-point favorite on the road in a primetime game on ESPN. What do you like in that one?
I kind of like Auburn there, and it's Brett and I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. It's Auburn, the courtship of Coach Kiffin after last season. Hugh Freeze angle here. A few years ago, he got run out of Oxford. Back further, Coach Tuberville making the move from Vaught Hemingway to Jordan-Hare. So I mean, there's a lot here. This has not been an easy matchup for Lane Kiffin the last couple of years. He hasn't covered one against Auburn, 0-3 against different coaches, and 1-2 only 2-1 straight up, and he didn't cover that one that he won. So I'm a little leery laying points on Ole Miss. I'm still not quite 100% sold on Ole Miss. I know the record's been good, but a couple of those wins were kind of weird. The Tulane win and the Georgia Tech win, the score lines were deceiving. Auburn at home, maybe you can get them a look. It's pretty clear right now that Peyton Thorne is not the answer for them at quarterback, or at least the answer they were hoping for. I mean, I guess they'll still use him, but they did play that one game at home against Georgia very tough. Hugh Freeze throughout his career has been a pretty good chaos agent. You would think he can get the team to circle the wagons with all the stuff, going on in this series with Freeze against Ole Miss and all that. I think it shapes up as a difficult game for Ole Miss there, and maybe they win. I don't think they cover 30-27 Ole Miss, but I'm going to take the points with Auburn.
Yeah, Ole Miss only won 3 times ever at Auburn, and to be favored 6.5 points over Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze 0-1 in games against Ole Miss since he's left Ole Miss. Remember, he lost with Liberty 2 years ago with Malik Willis going against Matt Corral. In Fayetteville tomorrow morning, survivor pool game. Both teams 0 in the SEC. State 3-3 on the season. Arkansas 2-5. Almost impossible for the defeated team in this game to go to a bowl game. Arkansas 6-point favorite, Bruce.
Yeah, and from what we're hearing, I mean, Zach Arnett could be in some trouble there. I know it's his first year, but they structured that deal where, he was, sort of the bridge there after the sad situation with Coach Leach, but it is not a big buyout. And you would think if he doesn't make a bowl this year, Mississippi State, keep an eye on that situation. I don't think all season they have used Mike Wright correctly. We saw him take a few more snaps in the last game. But it's back to what we said early on with Mississippi State. If they're not running the Leach offense, then and you've got Will Rogers trying to run something else, you're wasting Rogers, or you're just making a mistake here, especially since you've got another option in Wright, who won a couple games as a starter because of him. Vanderbilt won a couple games last year as a starter, so we haven't seen as much of that from him. I guess my question here is Arkansas just keeps losing these games close, and you wonder how much fight is left in the Razorbacks. I've gone back and forth on this one, but I still think Arkansas probably here. The schedule has been pretty tough for the Razorbacks, and most of their efforts have been good. It's not good enough, but losing to some of the top tier teams that they've lost to the Alabamas and the Ole Misses, and they were close in those games. That's a little bit more impressive than what Mississippi State has done. So I'll take the Razorbacks there. Updated score 28-19 here for Arkansas.
Bruce, tomorrow night, USC back at home after a loss last week, hosting 14th-ranked Utah. Right now, USC a 7-point favorite. That total sitting about 52. What do you like in this one?
I like Utah, even though it looks like Cam Rising's not going to play again. Although we hear the same thing about him every week, and this is really strange. You usually don't hear that. He might play. We're 6 weeks now on, and that obviously that knee injury was more serious than people let on in the Rose Bowl. And even if he comes back, he would be pretty rusty. So it looks. Kyle Whittingham has been using the other quarterbacks. He's sort of gone back to Barnes here. They've been able to score some points against Cal last week. But what has the difference here up front? They have just dominated SC and out-physicaled them. And I think they will turn this into sort of a street fight. And watching the Trojans at Notre Dame last week, I'm not sure they're built to survive a game like that. Their schedule had broke pretty well for them early in the season. It got tougher last week. They failed miserably. They're trying to say, well, the defensive numbers weren't that bad last week. Well, Notre Dame only had to go 25, 30 yards to score on a couple of those TD drives, which they moved in really easy. They got a scoop and score, and they had a kickoff return, too. Just a bad effort by SC, and you have to wonder, how good is this defense? Well, we know that all year, that they're not that good. But up front, are they going to be able to handle Utah? They haven't the last 3 years. Maybe Utah plays some ball control. And how about SC's pass blocking? Caleb Williams is under some pressure, and the last couple games, have not been that easy for him. And it looks like Arizona and Notre Dame sort of figured some things out on this SC offense. And I some of the body language in SC I didn't like last week. And
that
Williams,
whole sideline. Oh man, that was a bad look, Bruce.
It was a bad look. And
Lincoln Riley scared to death to get on Caleb Williams.
He is. I think he's secretly hoping he sticks around and gets some more nil money for him next year, another $5 million or whatever he's getting. His dad's hinted that too, but yeah, he does look scared of him. And I'm not sure. Williams says Caleb's got to, when things go bad. We saw that last year a couple of times. He sort of panicked, and we saw that last week. And Utah beat these guys twice last year. 3 times in a row they've beat them and scored 40 or more each time. I think Utah gets them tomorrow. 34-31, Utah. That would not get. SC is already in desperate trouble. They're really out of the playoff conversation, I think, because they still got Oregon and Washington to come and UCLA. And I think they lose tomorrow, and then they start talking about the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl or the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl for SC after tomorrow.
Oh, that is beautiful to hear. USC having to talk about the Tony the Tiger Bowl. Perfect transition to compare these two coaches because they're almost the inverse. Everybody rips Kirk Ferentz and Iowa. And we're going to get to that Iowa 30.5 over and under, and we want you to tell us historically, is this the lowest or what it has been the lowest over and under since they've been posted and you've been keeping up with it. But how come Kirk Ferentz gets all this criticism? He's 6-1, just like Lincoln Riley is, but he doesn't. And there's no comparison in budgets and histories of those programs. I'm sure the people of Iowa are very nice, but you couldn't make me live up there. For one thing, my friends would call me a Yankee. Another thing, I'd freeze to death up there. So there's no way I would live up there. But how come Lincoln Riley, with no defense, doesn't get the criticism Kirk Ferentz gets with no offense, Bruce?
Yeah, you're right. And just for now, it was before Riley got there, but the last time Iowa played SC, it was in the Holiday Bowl a couple of years ago, and Iowa romped. Too physical for them. It's just a different style, and it works, and they've got, it works in the Big Ten West for Iowa.
And it's easy to knock around the guy at Iowa.
Yeah, it is, but he wins, and he's doing what
that's
the
the object, isn't it? To win. And Iowa's had 2 coaches since '79, Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz. Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Kentucky, Texas A&M. I bet they'd like to trade with Iowa and have 2 coaches over 44 years.
I agree, and Ferentz is still underrated. And as we know that his son, the offensive coordinator, has got that contract stipulation. I think he's going to fall short of that 25 per game. But there was another kicker in there that Iowa had to win at least 7. They're almost there already. They win this game against the Gophers, which I think they will. even though McNamara, the quarterback, is out, so they have to go with the transfer from Wisconsin. So they're playing kind of the same, though. It's just let Phil Parker's defense win the game. But they're totally in the driver's seat in the Big Ten West if they win this game, and I think they probably will. One other note: Ferentz has owned PJ Fleck since PJ got to Minneapolis.
Yeah. And PJ just one of the grooviest guys going.
Yep, and Ferentz has won every one of these Floyd of Rosedale games. So 17-9 Iowa. As for that total, yes, this is the lowest college total I can remember. It's like an NFL preseason total. And it's funny, in a week where Air Force and Navy also have a pretty low total, that you've got a total even lower than that one. And it's this one here in Iowa City. But I think Ferentz keeps that magic over Fleck, and then just an old-style game. Iowa's the way to look.
So it is the lowest ever. What if USC and LSU met in a bowl game? What would the over and under be? What would the over be in that? And what's the highest over you've ever seen?
I want to say Texas Tech and Baylor, just off the top of my head, back when Art Briles was there, and Tech with Cliff, I think, when they really, I think we had one in the 80s with them, so they would be close, probably be in the mid to high 70s. LSU has been over 14-1. SC over 14-1 in its last 15, so there's a couple of angles to look at. By the way, LSU playing Army this week. Just a note there. I am old enough to have been alive. I don't quite remember it. Probably like you, Brett. For a coach who won a national title at LSU to leave Baton Rouge
for
Army. Paul Dietzel in '62.
You think we ever see that again?
No, but even then, it shows you how things have changed. Nope, that was an understandable move in 1962, because Army was still a high-profile program. So, anyway, there's a little history in that one. But no, the total for SC and LSU would be high 70s probably, and that would be about as high as you'd get one this year. Who knows? Maybe there's some matchup out there in the Bowls. I'm not sure where it would be, but maybe that's a possibility. We'll see in late December, January.
What was Paul Dietzel thinking?
Yeah, I think he was a little tired of what he thought Bear Bryant was getting away with at Alabama. I'll be careful how I say that, but Dietzel was convinced there was stuff going on there.
Yes.
And at that point, Army was, he had achieved what he could do at LSU, and Army was still a high-profile job then. So, it made some sense then. It surprised people. But
it's right up there with Roy Danforth leaving Syracuse for Tulane in basketball.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And that's hard to, but back then, Tulane was paying probably a little more money than Syracuse was. They were able to, because it was before the big money, before the Big East started and all the money. So guys go there. And I dare say, Dietzel might have got paid more at Army than he did at LSU. That's another factor. Hard to believe that today, 1962, though, definitely possible.
Wow. Bruce, we've got to let you go, but before we let you go, I want you to tell everybody how we can get more of you, but also your favorite college football bet of the weekend. And we ran out of time before we get to some NFL games, but your favorite NFL game of the weekend as well.
Real quick, the Chargers plus, they could play anybody they play. They'll play close. They could be playing San Jose State or the Chiefs. It won't matter. Every game's going to be decided by like 3 points, so I'll take the Chargers plus. And in college, I mentioned that Air Force and Navy game. Now, the Army isn't running the pure flexbone anymore. This is the last one left of pure option versus pure option. And these games normally have, in the past, 30 to 35 fewer snaps because the clock moves. There's no incomplete passes. And this year, the snap numbers are a wee bit down because of some of the clock changes. But that's, 34 here. Air Force's quarterback, Larry, is out this week. And Jensen Jones, the backup, struggled. Navy plays these guys tough, so I don't think this one gets anywhere near 34 in that one. For me, one note this afternoon, CBS Sports HQ, you can see me on there with Kenny White about 5:35 Central Time today, so CBS Sports HQ, you can stream that one. You can also read my stuff, bamsports.net, and my picks, as always, included these baseball games tonight and hockey, and that SMU Temple, got to pick on that. VegasInsider.com.
Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next Friday.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce, and have a great weekend. I know he'll knock it out with CBS Sports. Looking forward to watching that with Bruce, and the record under of all time. We're living it, Brian. That's good.
Yeah, I love it. I love a good under.
Tell you what I always do. I always go over with how much I eat when I go to Jason's Deli, and you can do that as well at all these great locations, like over at Ridgeway Road, at Poplar and Highland, at Olive Branch, and at Cordova. And one thing it pushes over at all those locations, the complimentary free ice cream. But the food is all healthy and good for you, whether it's dining in, to go, or delivery. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at all these Jason's Deli with this group, over 200 Memphis area associates working so hard for you, the important customer, and how they do all the catering. It is a mass production, how they're set up for the catering for the jobs the next day. For any job, 5 or 5,000, they've got you covered. And it's all about choice at Jason's Deli, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals. You will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free, with all those great salads like the Mesa chicken salad, the Big Chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad, the taco salad, my favorite, and that salad bar. In every location, the salad bar, where you can prepare it however you would like, with over 30 items to choose from there. And soup season, for me, it's here with the Texas chili. That means beanless, the chicken noodle, the broccoli cheese, the tomato basil, and the chicken pot pie, all also very good at Jason's Deli, in a location, I promise you, near wherever you are in our area, on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the weekend in the SEC. We'll also get to our weekend bingo card. That's next on Sports Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood, or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Fiveash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779. It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They're wrapping up the earlier grass fire on 240 eastbound at Airways, but the damage is already done. It's really slow go now on 240 east from Mill Branch there at Airways. 385 Billmores Parkway still running a little bit slow from the earlier wreck there at Ridgeway that's coming inbound on 385. It's pretty heavy now on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Germantown Parkway from that earlier wreck that slowed it down on 40 east at Abilene. Hey, if you get hurt in a car crash, call 901 Attorneys here in Memphis. They're online. Check them out at 901attorneys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Brett, I forgot earlier at 4 o'clock.
Right, I did too.
But here we go. Ohio State.
Better late than never.
Second half of the Fight Song Friday. We did Penn State to open the show. Now we're doing Ohio State as they're obviously one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game tomorrow. I think says enough that both Game Day and Big Noon are there. OAIO. But we got to talk about the SEC right now. They can have all their fun in the Big Ten, but we got to talk
only
SEC.
5 SEC games tomorrow.
Very light.
Who's making Army's schedule?
Oh man, a date with LSU in the middle of October. How about
you
that?
Doing that far?
Whew, yeah, not what Army needed right now.
32-point favorite at Tiger Stadium, and hey, a lot of people won't play Army in the SEC, and sure won't play them outside of around opening day or so in September because of the chop blocking of that system.
Yeah.
It's not dirty at all, but a lot of diving at your knees. But LSU they are. I don't know if LSU is returning this game to Mikey Stadium in a few years. It should be a trip for everybody in college football to do. I've never done it. It's at or near the top of my college football only bucket list. But Army's going to Baton Rouge tomorrow, and Jaden Daniels is going to run all over them. I don't think he'll be out there long.
No, I don't think he'll be out there long at all. I mean, I think it could get very ugly in Baton Rouge tomorrow. And Jaden Daniels, even though they have 2 losses, we continue to talk about him in that Heisman race. What he has done this year has really been remarkable and really fun to watch. And so I think he keeps that rolling tomorrow.
Well, for that Heisman race, we could see an indicator from LSU if that matters that much to them on his playing time tomorrow.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
If he's out there, if he makes an appearance in the fourth quarter, it's padding stats.
Yeah, they're saying, well, we got to make his numbers look a little better, so we'll just keep him out there against Army and see what he can do. That's a good point.
and LSU off the next week, and then their trip to Bryant-Denny Stadium. So he may play a little more than I first thought. The rest of the year for LSU, after tomorrow against the Army, they play at Bryant-Denny against Alabama on November 4th, then at home against Florida, home against Georgia State, and Thanksgiving weekend, home against Texas A&M. They still can win the West.
Oh, yeah. No,
Just
they can.
simply by winning out.
Yeah.
They still control their own destiny.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think some people kind of overlook that fact because of the 2 losses, but only 1 loss in conference to Ole Miss. So if they take care of business the rest of the way, you're absolutely right. They could easily be back there in that conference championship game.
And that loss to Florida State opening weekend, that Sunday night of Labor Day weekend, that fourth quarter was really imposing by FSU, and it was the sign of FSU's back and Mike Norvell really building something. And I promise this is not my Ole Miss sensitivity at all. I promise it's not. But how come with every passing week since that Ole Miss win over LSU, LSU's perception's gone up, and the question marks just keep popping up about Ole Miss? Bruce had them. I have some myself. But why does it seem like LSU came out of that game with a loss less scathed than the team that won?
That's a really good question. I don't know. Maybe it's
or is that sensitive on my part?
I don't think so, because I think you're right, but I really have no answer for you, Brett. I'm not sure.
But that win is really holding up for Ole Miss.
It is.
The big thing for Ole Miss is they have to keep winning. Ole Miss has got to win tomorrow at Auburn. Look, only won 3 times ever on the Plains, ever, and hadn't won back-to-back since 51, 52. I mean, Coach Kiffin, even citing that number. Those games were played in Mobile and in Memphis back then, and it will be a while before we come back. Another place that tomorrow, and I think they're scheduled for next year, I think. But with this new schedule that we're going to start in 25, Alabama and Tennessee are scheduled for next year. But the new schedule we're starting in 25, Tennessee's not going to be Alabama's permanent opponent. Permanent's going to be Auburn.
Wow.
It's going to happen. There's no possibility to it. This long uninterrupted streak, they missed in 43 when they technically neither place fielded a team because of World War II. So, some are saying, well, even if you just use that number, since 43, they've met every year. But since they technically didn't have teams because of World War II, and General Neyland was very much, doing the general thing then and not the coach thing then. They've played uninterrupted really since 1928, but that third Saturday in October, it will stop. That run will stop in a few years as we start merging all these other teams in, and that's even if we stay at 8 games. If we go to 9, there's no way to. Or if we stay at 8, there's no way to see them. If we go to 9, may see them with a little more frequency.
Wow, that's there's going to be a lot of changes to the SEC, and
it is.
And trying to keep up with all of them is a little tough. I'll be honest.
Well, and not just the SEC. I mean, we
know football,
we know Thanksgiving weekend. That's it for a while for Apple Cup.
It's crazy. It's crazy. A lot of changes, like you said, in all college football.
We know it's going to be it for Stanford Cal for a while. It's going to be it for Oregon State for a while.
Bedlam coming to an end. So, I mean, it's.
I think Bedlam's in 2 weeks, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's certainly coming up.
And that's going to be it for. They play on November 4th.
So just a couple of weeks away from Bedlam. I guess Texas A&M has a week off, so Jimbo kind of gets a break from the criticism for a week, maybe.
That tweet going around of the record after 67 games.
Jeez.
Kevin Sumlin 2 games better at A&M than Jimbo Fisher.
That's crazy, Brett.
You almost want to go check it, but it's right.
I mean, that is insane, and I understand now Jimbo kind of getting a lot more heat than maybe he initially than he initially thought he would get when he signed a contract with Texas A&M. But just to kind of hear that and kind of think of the way we think of the tenures of both of those coaches, and it's really hard to believe.
And next week, Texas A&M, they're at home against South Carolina. What will the crowd be like? And then the following week, they come to Oxford. They could really be in a mess by the time they come to Oxford, which makes it why tomorrow for Ole Miss against Auburn. I mean, if you're ever going to beat Auburn at Auburn, this is the time for Ole Miss to do it.
Yeah, it seems like this is the year, and you could say that for a lot of teams in the SEC with Auburn. I think you think that in terms of the next 4 or 5 years, this is going to be the worst Auburn team
he's going to
they have. He's going to get things right over there. What do you think about this game 2:30 tomorrow, kind of living in the shadows in terms of SEC outside of Tennessee and Alabama? South Carolina at Missouri. I think this is a very interesting game for really both of these teams. South Carolina, I don't think anybody thought they would have the start of the season they've had so far.
It was two coaches going into this year that had a little momentum coming out of last year. I think Shane Beamer had more, especially how they finished over Tennessee and over Clemson. But it's been lost. And now Eli Drinkwitz has the momentum, and this is homecoming at Mizzou. And Mizzou popularized, they started homecoming. That's a very big deal for them. We were up there in 2019. Oh yeah, it's a very big deal. You've never seen a homecoming parade like it.
Wow.
And I love homecoming parades, but they really put it on there. It's very important to them. And tomorrow for Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou to get to 7-1. Earlier this week I said to Pat Smith that I think right now Nick Saban should merit some SEC Coach of the Year consideration. Most are hands down giving it to Eli Drinkwitz.
Yeah, well, and I think Pat said this when we were talking to him earlier in the week. Of a lot of people thought Eli Drinkwitz could be the first coach to go in terms of firing if he didn't get off to a good start for Missouri. But 6-1 right now, ranked 20th in the country. That only loss is that LSU team we just talked about. And that game really, even though it was a 10-point loss, that game came down to the final couple of minutes in the fourth quarter. So I've been really impressed with what Eli Drinkwitz has done. But on the other side, for South Carolina, I mean, this really seems like their backs are kind of against the wall. They really need to win this game if they want to do anything this year.
Yeah, this would almost blunt the momentum that Mizzou's built. That last-second big win over Kansas State, hanging on against the Memphis Tigers in St. Louis. I mean, they've really done some good things, and they would lose that momentum with a loss to South Carolina. They're playing for something. Is this the Mayor's Cup? In this one, the mayors of Columbia, Missouri against the mayor of Columbia, South Carolina. I think it is. Boy, there's a lot of trophies out there in college football right now. We'll talk a lot more about Mississippi State at Arkansas at 5 o'clock when Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas joins us. And again, a survivor pool game. Both of them over in the SEC. It's a fun time of the year, and it's truck season in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. First exit into Mississippi on Highway 78. Take Kraft Goodman, you're there. And if you're ready for a new Silverado, you'll be at the perfect place. All-Star Chevrolet, right there in Olive Branch with deals that are perfect for you to save big money. Your good credit deserves it. Financing as low as $0. No payment for 90 days. That could be into next year before you had to make your first payment. Plus, you get $1,000 back in cash in All-Star with all the Silverados. Fall road trips, tailgating, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all the holidays. The timing could not be better. Come to Olive Branch and drive a new Tahoe or Traverse. If you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned, you can get it there. Camaro convertibles. They have a Lexus, a Suburban. If it's not on the lot, just ask for it. And Jeff and his crew, they'll find it for you. Jeff and Kevin, they always tell me to thank all of you who brought your cars and your trucks to All-Star to sell. And you can get a check today, tomorrow, this weekend for some great cash. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today, or go to allstarautogroup.com. Where are you on the bingo card? I told you I had a theme.
You do have a theme. I'm going to go back to what I did last week, 2 in college football, 2 in the NFL. Before I say that, you're absolutely right. It is the Mayor's Cup they're playing for tomorrow between Missouri and South Carolina.
For $1,000, could you name the mayor of Columbia, Missouri, or Columbia, South Carolina?
Unfortunately, Brett, I couldn't.
And I'm not offering $1,000. Anybody can.
No. Let me get to my bingo card. First one, I'll start with the Tigers. I've seen some rumblings of this one already, kind of building up to this game, and I think we'll really see it tomorrow.
I'm scared to death of it.
I am too, but I'm not scared to death of this one because I think it's going to happen. Somebody not affiliated with the University of Memphis or UAB will tweet something out about the Bones. It will go around. Somebody pretty popular on Twitter will find out that Memphis and UAB are playing for a 91-pound slab of ribs, and they will tweet out about it. I love it, and I hope it gets some traction by some national media tomorrow. And when I mean that, there's some sites, there's some pages on Twitter that are kind of fun and do like football commentary. I think it's that. I don't think this is going to be ESPN or CBS Sports or anything tweeting out about it. I think it's going to be some of those fun pages.
I told David Basil when he started the boot that Arkansas and LSU plays for, and David, there were friends of ours, of his, that were rough on him. I said, back off on this.
Yeah.
Floyd of Rosedale, the little brown jug.
Oh, yeah.
All of this starts somewhere. The Egg Bowl starts somewhere. I don't mind the Bones. I have it on my list as well.
Oh, I love it. I love the Bones. My second one, Michigan Gate. That's what I have labeled. That is what I've named the situation going on at Michigan.
Name
Michigan
a special
Gate.
prosecutor.
Really? You could also, I guess, name it sign stealing gate if you want, but that seems a little too wordy. This controversy is going to completely overpower a great rivalry between Michigan and Michigan State. You're going to hear all of the conversation tomorrow morning, whichever one you fancy, game day or big noon, will be talking about this controversy more than the actual game. And then when we get to game time, this topic is going to be so overpowered by the commentary team while you're watching that game. I think that will happen tomorrow. Then my 2 in the NFL, we get a game of the backups between Raiders and Bears. You mentioned the Bears quarterback earlier this week. Shepherd College, I believe, he played for. Brian Hoyer on the other side, so that might be fun to watch. I don't think either of the starters play on Sunday. I think it'll be a game of backups. And then my last one, we get Lions are legit talk after Sunday. I might be a little premature because with that, I think the Lions win on Sunday, and I think people are having real conversations if they are one, if not the best team in their conference, and how far into postseason play they can make it. That is my bingo card for the week, Brett.
My bingo card, we share one about the Bones, and I hope it's nice and flattering out there. I don't know why anybody would take a shot at it. Look, if you can't make fun of a pig, Floyd of Rosedale, I think we got another pig, the Bones of Barbecue. So don't knock us. I control this one, so I know I can get this one in. It's almost a rule from any broadcast crew from a game at Auburn. You have to say loveliest village on the plains, don't you?
You got to.
That's kind of a broadcasting rule. I'll make sure to get it in the first 30 seconds. If you're playing along at home, you can mark it off. Also, at the Alabama-Tennessee game, the cigars, and will Jenny Dale present the box to Saban like she did to Heupel last year, almost like she was a fan with doing that. That was all but contemptible last year. And the fourth one, this is one I hope during the UAB-Memphis game. Never mind the Bones. You know what this game should be honored? Who should be honored in this?
Who's
the
that?
Late, great Gene Bartow.
You're absolutely right.
I hope somebody mentions him during that game tomorrow, because UAB would not have football without Gene Bartow. Maybe wouldn't have had basketball either. He started it, and he was the driving force in having football, and we know how loved he is here.
Absolutely. I would love that. I didn't even think about that, but that is a really, really good one. We'll play along at home. If you've got something you think will happen this weekend, text it in 901-360-8255 so we can also follow along with your bingo card. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
What do you get when you have a dream, a beer, and a business plan? Meddlesome Brewing. Mettlesom's classic ales and lagers capture the true Memphis spirit. Strong, tenacious, and unforgettable. Mettlesome captures true Memphis spirit as well with community events including the Mettlesome Meandering 0.5K Saturday, November 4th with live music, event cup, and plenty of brews like Memphis Style and 201 Hopler. Mettlesome Brewing on Trinity in Cordova, just east of Shelby Farms. On tap and canned packages. Mettlesome Brewing. Never settle, always metal.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P5017859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Response to the all-new Genesis Diamonds has been incredible. People are loving what we brought to Memphis. Genesis is a different kind of jewelry store with more jewelry than you've ever seen in one place at prices you never thought possible. What's the Genesis secret? Our owner was born and raised in the diamond industry in Tel Aviv. After selling wholesale to high-end jewelry retailers for years, he hated the insane markups they were getting away with. So he stopped selling to the stores and started selling direct to the public. That philosophy is still a core part of Genesis DNA as we continue to sell the highest quality diamonds at true no-middleman direct importer prices. With international connections and massive buying power, Genesis has what it takes to beat anyone else's price every day on every diamond. Discover the Genesis difference, forever changing how people in Memphis buy diamonds and fine jewelry. Now open at Poplar and Perkins, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans.
We say all the time that above all else, Bell Tavern is Memphis's best little downtown bar. And we mean that. The food and service and atmosphere at Bell Tavern are all designed to make you feel at home. But above all else, you should know you're in a bar. And sometimes when you're in a bar, you might want something a little more special than the ice-cold beer that Bell Tavern offers. That's why there's the signature cocktails and the flights of spirits. Bourbon flights, whiskey flights, single malt scotch flights, agave flights, and even Japanese whiskey flights. All available at Bell Tavern, the bar that outbars all the other bars.
Did you know gas goes bad in as little as 30 days? Bad gas can cause rough starts, poor performance, or no starts at all. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Whether it's your car, truck, boat, lawnmower, leaf blower, weed trimmer, ATV, motorcycle, or anything else with an engine, when you store, start with Stable.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today is 7, and I was going to make this what I learned today, but then something else. I've learned something else, and so this got bumped, and now I'm going to make my big number of the day, 7. Western Kentucky, I should say, they have debuted new helmets for their game Tuesday night versus Liberty. Their mascot, Big Red, will be featured on all of the helmets, but they have 7 different decals that will be on the helmets based on the position group, and it's all a picture of Big Red, but he's doing different things in each picture. So, like, for the quarterbacks, all the quarterbacks will have a decal of Big Red throwing a football. For the offensive linemen, they'll have a decal of Big Red in a 3-point stance. So very fun from Western Kentucky. I'm excited to see those decals Tuesday night against Liberty.
That's very busy. You mentioned Detroit this weekend on your bingo card, and that's my big number. It's 105.1. No, that's not the classic rock station. It's Jared Goff's quarterback rating, and there are only 2 in the NFL higher, Tua Tagovailoa and Brock Purdy. Do you think most people know that?
No,
that
not
Jared
at all.
Goff is third? I don't either.
No chance.
11 touchdowns passing, only 3 interceptions. I do think his sack number's a little high. But I think that line coaching staff, they'd prefer a sack over an interception every time.
No, you're absolutely right.
At least with
a
sack, you can kick it. You can punt it.
Absolutely. And he's been really good this year. I think, like you said, I don't think many people would think that just watching NFL games on the weekend, but he has been really, really good. But we got to get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Arkansas football with Ty Richardson.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE $678,6055, MSRP $21,610, Nero P5017859, MSRP $41,090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP $49,687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Hey, Jeff Allen, the weather's getting cooler, but the deals keep on getting hotter at Gossett Kia South. What you got going on, Jeff?
Only the best deals you'll find on your new Kia, Randy. I've got 41 MPG Highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing. I've got EV action with a 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 due at signing. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Hey, Mid-South, you looking for a new ride that'll save you some big bucks? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. A new ride that boosts 41 mpg highway and 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing. How about 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV? 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 due at signing. And 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Plus a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P5017859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
We're wrapping up the paperwork on the earlier crash. Bill Morris Parkway 385 coming westbound. That's coming inbound to town there at Ridgeway. Yes, it's heavy going outbound back out towards Collierville, but it's moving there on 385. It's picked up with more volume on 55 coming across the bridge there over from West Memphis. It's going to get busier again here in the next few minutes on 40 eastbound from Sycamore View Road all the way out to Fayette County. Just give yourself extra time. Radar earlier out there around 269 as you head out towards Fayette County. There's an adventure around every corner at the Memphis Zoo. They've got a lot going on. Check them out this weekend at memphiszoo.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Time to talk Razorbacks on Sportstime. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Ty Richardson joining us now from ESPN Arkansas to talk the Razorbacks. And Ty, it seems like the last couple of weeks we've been talking to you, some of the same points we seem to talk about every single week, the turnovers, the penalties. Arkansas kind of shook all of that against Alabama. No turnovers, only 2 penalties, but they still come up short against Alabama. What happened last weekend that led to an Alabama victory and another Arkansas loss?
Oh, Brian, it was a putrid first half. I mean, offensively, they were inept at the highest order. They had those 2 field goals to start, and then it was just awful. So that's, I mean, when you can't do that against Alabama, and, I mean, you mentioned the turnovers, none, 2 penalties compared to Alabama's 4. It was a pretty clean game, but, I mean, even clean against Alabama doesn't get it done. You have to turn it up, and they just weren't able to. They did it. It just happened too late, fellas.
The 239 yards leads the team in rushing. I think that's A.J. Green. That says it all, doesn't it? You got to have a leading rusher on October 21st, or tomorrow, the 21st, with more than 239 yards, don't you, Ty?
Yeah, no, you absolutely do, Brett. I mean, it's frustrating for fans because they're wondering why AJ's not getting in there more. But his strength is straight line speed, and in order to have a rushing attack on this offensive line, you have to break tackles at times in the backfield, and that's why Dominion is getting the ball more, and his average is down because there's more tackles for losses. But I just never would have thought, fellas, that they would be in this situation that they are right now, unfortunately, where it's just there's no running attack. And this is, again, the worst offensive line Sam Pittman's had. You're hoping just to salvage the rest of the season, win 4 or 5, and go to a bowl game, but they've got to show you something tomorrow. Tomorrow, think of Brett, Brian, you guys have all had a friend over the years that you kept giving second chances to, and he kept on failing you or she kept on failing you. If this team fails this fan base tomorrow, they're done with them this year. They'll come back next year, but they're done with them for the year.
I guess a good time with basketball right around the corner.
Yeah, basketball on the way does help. I think it puts more pressure on Eric Musselman for him to have to come through. Now, he usually does 2 Elite Eights and a Sweet 16 the last 3 years, but it'll stack the pressure up on him. But Sam Pittman can't worry about what the pressure does to Eric Musselman. It's on him tomorrow. Ty, what if it were particularly ugly? What if the Razorbacks were down 17 with 5 minutes to go? How ugly would the crowd be?
Oh, there'd be boos, and there'd be anger, and the visceral social media presence would pick up even worse. I don't even want to imagine that, to be honest, Brett. You don't know if Rodgers going to play. I don't think he's going to be honest, based on some of the stuff that I've seen. But I've been wrong plenty of times before.
Right, let's go the other side of it. Let's say Razorbacks up 17 with 5 minutes played, and you're coasting to a win. Will the fans appreciate it, or will it just be a collective sigh of relief?
Oh, yeah. I think it'll be appreciated. I mean, they expect to win tomorrow. And I think if they do, it's homecoming. Brett, you obviously went to school here. You know how many people come back into town for this weekend to see friends. They show their kids, hey, Brian Jr., this is where this is where my name was on the walk. This is where I met your mom at this Kearney house or whatever. I mean, it's fun to take your kids, nieces, nephews, grandkids, or whatever, back to Fayetteville. I remember going with my grandparents, how cool it was. And, I think it would definitely be not just a sigh of relief, Brett, to your question, but appreciated too.
Ty, around Little Rock, did you ever know of the very colorful figure? She's gone now, but her name was Willie Oakes, and her nickname was the Hat Lady. She had a personalized license plate, drove a big old Cadillac, rolled around Little Rock in a big old Cadillac that said Hat Lady, and she was a cheerleader at the university in the 30s or 40s, and she would come back for homecoming and would go out on the field and get a bigger reaction than the homecoming queen when she would get out there and call the Hogs.
Brett, I'm going to be honest, man. That might have been a little bit
I got you.
Awesome, though. I just anytime you have those figures in sports that you have a super fan of any sort. Ole Miss has one, Mississippi State has one, Arkansas has one.
Florida's got cool. Mr. Two Bits, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool pastime. It's a cool tradition. I guess now I learned something new today, Brett.
Willie was great, and I with my church, when I was very active in church, I would go to state Presbyterian meetings, and she was very active in her church downtown, First Presbyterian in Little Rock. When I finally got to meet her, I mean, it was like meeting Frank Brawls to meet Willie Oakes, the Hat Lady.
The prestige, yeah. These super fans, like for one of ours is like Eddie in Clarksville. He's pretty known throughout the state for his radio calls and stuff like that. Canyon Sandia as well. I mean, there's so much passion here. I mean, there's passion, of course, in Memphis. You think about the Tigers, the Grizzlies, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama Hubs. I mean, that's why. I mean, just sports talk in the South and experiencing Tuscaloosa. I mean, the Dixieland Delight, man, was something. Let me tell you.
Off the charts. I'm telling you, in 2015 when we were there, and Ole Miss was way ahead. That was about when Alabama started its comeback. During it, just kind of in our ears, not going out over the air, Richard Cross, who was down on the field, said, "Is the press box moving?" He said, "I feel the ground moving," and it was between third and fourth quarter with Dixieland Delight. All right, so the last 4 weeks on the Magical Mystery Tour you've been on, Baton Rouge, Arlington against Texas A&M, Ole Miss against Oxford against Ole Miss, and Tuscaloosa against Bama. What was the best team you saw in those 4 teams?
Probably Alabama. Still, you said best team, right? Right.
Uh-huh.
I'd probably still go Alabama, but I mean it's close. I mean, Ole Miss, defensively, hounded Arkansas just like Alabama did. I mean, A&M's got a really good front line. They're just not as good offensively. And I mean, each SEC town I got to experience. I didn't go to College Station because that game was in Dallas, but it's definitely unique. I had been to Oxford 8 years prior to us seeing each other this 2 weekends ago. So, but I would still give the edge to Alabama. I'm really excited for tomorrow when they take on Tennessee, and then also when you have LSU come to town, because that should be an electric game. And guys, I'm sorry, I'm a little stuffy. I think I've got a cold from all this travel I've been going on. I apologize.
It's easy to do with all the hotel air conditioning.
Yeah. The asbestos and stuff or whatever.
Oh, yeah, all of it. We're talking to Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. He joins us every Friday to talk Razorbacks. And, Ty, it feels like every week we ask you about Rocket Sanders. He didn't play last week. It's already been ruled out for this weekend against Mississippi State.
He's not even in town,
Yeah,
is he?
I've read reports that he's down in Texas. What's the latest on Rocket Sanders, and what are your thoughts on the rest of his season with the Razorbacks?
So he had an event this week with Walmart that he wasn't at, and it was told from a PR person to Alyssa Orange of Pig Trail Nation here that he was getting rehab in Dallas. Chuck mentioned that he expects him to be there tomorrow. When Chuck says something, I usually listen. He said that on air today, so I'm going to expect Rocket Sanders to be on the sideline. This is a tough situation because you don't know the specifics, kind of like Nick Smith, as we talked about last year. And there's so much speculation on, this kid's giving up, he's quitting, he's just ready to go to the NFL draft. As there was with Nick, we saw Nick come back. He didn't have the same impact I know he wanted to, but I respect him because he didn't have to come back, and he did. And I'm just wondering what is being said to Rocket right now behind closed doors, and then also what's actually going on. And it's a kid's personal privacy. I understand it, but our minds just wander when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah, it just leaves us when they kind of go news blackout, then we kind of have to fill in the blanks. And unless they give us something definitive, then that's how the speculation really comes up. Ty, several weeks ago, I told you, a good friend of mine, Razorback fan through and through, he said after opening week against Western Carolina, he said it's going to be an all-year issue. And I told you this. He said at the end of the year, Rocket Sanders won't have 50 touches. Right now, 34 carries, 7 receptions, 41 touches.
He's right. He might be right. He might be right. I hate that for him because Rocket and Quinshon Judkins, those were, you had a freshman and sophomore that took the SEC by storm last year. Were so fun to watch. And Judkins has played a little more and been better because he's got the football and he's a much better offensive line in Oxford than there is in Fayetteville right now. It's just a bummer for both KJ and Rocket. Rocket's not coming back. He's a running back. There's only so many treads you can put on those tires. And then for KJ, technically he still has another year to come back. If he decides to play another year of college football, guys, I'm going to go out on a limb that I don't expect him to return to Fayetteville. I would expect to play somewhere else and transfer. I think Arkansas fans would be understanding of that. I think it would be best for KJ at that point. That is my thought. I could be completely wrong about that. But that's where I'm standing here in October on the 20th.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think the familiarity and bred contempt, but everybody probably ready for a change of locale, player and fans alike. KJ Jefferson was there in the 2019 season. He played, so he's been there, parts of 5 college football seasons. Michael Penix hadn't been at Washington 6, but has been in college football 6, and next year for KJ Jefferson, if he found the right place to go in as a 1-year, kind of mercenary quarterback, he could make somebody a really good ball player somewhere next year.
No question. I could see him ending up in the Big 12. I know people cited him going back to Fort Worth, playing with Kendall Briles. I don't know I'm going to be honest, I haven't paid attention to Chandler Morris much this year, how his stats are looking, but that's always a possibility. Yeah. That's always a possibility for rekindling of sorts. So you just never know. In the growing changes we see within college football, the expectations that we've had for a number of years are completely gone when it comes to player stability and mobility. So I can see him playing next year. I don't think he's going to get much of an NFL shot based on what happened this season. So his next best option is to try and play one more year of college football and get some NIL money somewhere else. Technically he could go back to Arkansas, but I just don't see it happening this next year.
Arkansas's lost 7 of the last 10 against Mississippi State. That even feeds into more of the must-win aspect to tomorrow. Chad Morris never had a must-win game because he never got in position for a must-win. He didn't win anything. Is this the biggest must-win since late in the Bielema years?
I think so. I mean, Sam Pittman had 5 straight losses, and things go against him. And there's a lot of fans that I never thought would jump off ship of him that have these last couple weeks, and I think that's tough for him. But at a certain point, you do it to yourself. I know that the road stretch is not anything what you wanted, but no one's saying the same things if you beat BYU, but you lost to BYU at home. Not only did you just lose to them, you lost them at home. So that's a difficult, again, setup for him. And like you said, it's a huge game. And, I would definitely argue it's been the biggest one for him, at least since the Bielema years.
Ty, what do you expect from the defense for Arkansas tomorrow against Mississippi State? Maybe a Mississippi State offense that we have kind of forgotten about over the last couple of years with the air raid kind of more balanced. Landon Jackson had a tremendous game last week against Alabama in the loss. What do you expect from the defense?
I expect them to hopefully use what they did last week and parlay. They're getting some guys back at the secondary and Chris Paul as well. So I don't know if Landon Jackson can top what he did last week, 3.5 sacks, 11 tackles. He's unbelievable. It's the best game of his life, high school or college. But, I mean, him and Trajan Jeffco, the transfer from Missouri, have been really good this year. You just want to take them that next step together. I don't think Will Rogers is going to play right if their quarterback. They're going to have to contain him more than they're worried about him being passing. So maybe you don't have as many sack statistics, but you can force him into some tough throws and tough situations. And hopefully Arkansas is able to do that tomorrow with another. I mean, they're like a top 5, top 6 defense in the SEC. And guys, I did not think I was going to say that about Travis Williams' unit, but he's been great for this football team this year.
Yeah, he has been so good that if you thought just with the other kind of expected, the probabilities, if they would have played out, the record would not be what it is. The league itself, how good is the SEC this year, in your opinion, Ty?
I think it's down. I mean, that's why it's so frustrating if you're an Arkansas fan. And Ole Miss, I mean, they're hoping Alabama drops 2 to get to the SEC championship because, I mean, that could foreseeably happen. They could lose tomorrow and lose to LSU in a couple weeks. So, I mean, it's clearly down. Georgia is not the same dominant team that we've come to know. And with losing Brock Bowers, that completely changes the dynamic of their season, especially these next few weeks. I just wonder, like, while the SEC is still down, I think that's pretty blanket statement on my part. It's hard to argue. I just don't know how good the other conferences are relative. Like, when you stack them up, and I know the non-conference did not fare well for SEC teams at the beginning, but we all know that the teams throughout the year get better at the tail end. So the pinnacle of the SEC is still better than the pinnacle of every other conference, but it's still down probably, I would say, 2 decades? I mean, you got to go back to 04 basically, when I guess LSU won in
maybe late 80s.
It could be. I mean, you know this conference history better than I do, Brett, so maybe you have to go back 40-something years.
I think we're not going to do this, and I don't know how I can prove this. It's just my speculation about it. But I think if we started the season over again and everybody played, there'd be a lot of different records than what they are. I think if we played it again, things would turn out a lot differently for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, think about the close games. Think about the games that Alabama's been through already this year that they've won. And the Texas was kind of the anomaly game, but they've won some close ball games. And Arkansas, I don't think they'd lose 5 straight. If they replayed, I think they'd get at least one of those games. So, yeah, I think that's really accurate on your part, Brett.
Ty, if you had to pick today after 7 weeks of play, who would be your 2 teams in the SEC championship game?
Man, I still think you have to say Georgia, even though Missouri, I've been really impressed with Eli Drinkowitz's team this year. That's going to be a tough game because they have to go to Athens. I just don't think Tennessee's passing attack is worthy of going unscathed the rest of the way. They've got some defensive guys that you like, and their rushing attack, but they're just Joe Milton isn't the same as Hayden Hooker. And then on the other side, I mean, you still got to say Bama, and I hate that. I really wish LSU would actually pull their heads out of year one on defense. Maybe they did to a certain extent last week against Auburn, but that offense is horrible. So I'd still give the edge to Bama, but I mean, Bama's got Tennessee this week. They've got LSU in 2 weeks after this game, so there's still some marquee matchups that they could falter in. If they play like they did against Arkansas, they'll lose on Saturday and they'll lose to LSU.
They will. They could lose to, like you said, tomorrow to Tennessee and to LSU. And even the road game late in the year on the Plains at Auburn. Ty, after Alabama lost to Texas, though, you got to give Alabama a little credit. After they lost to Texas, I thought by now they would have at least one more loss, maybe two. They don't have any. Winning is the object.
They do it, and I know Saban was getting messed with earlier this week about y'all didn't win enough, by enough, whether it's A&M or Arkansas. You just count those W's in the win column, baby, and give them, like you said, got to give them credit. And I hate giving Alabama credit, but I have to because they found ways to win. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been in dominant fashion like in years past, but they've won. And now they're setting themselves up with, again, the clear number one seed in the SEC West and a chance to take on Georgia and beat Kirby Smart. You know how bad Nick Saban wants to beat Kirby Smart? He'll never admit it publicly, but he wants to beat the dog out of him. And we'll see if it happens this year.
What was your favorite thing at the Bryant Museum? Your favorite tidbit, memento, artifact, favorite nuance? What was it?
I just liked the synergy when I walked in. Like, so, Brett, we played golf at the golfing facility on, I think, about 10:30 on Friday. So it had to be a quick stop for me. So I did the show at a local eatery, and I went over and went in real quick. And there's certain places you just feel an aura, and that's one of those places where you're just like connected with winning. And there's so much history within the Alabama program and college football. I would say it's hard to pick just one. It's just cool to walk in and go to the front desk and then just move on from there.
With the Arkansas boy, I got to tell you, my favorite is the Keith Jackson narrated video. And at the end, when he's talking about how Bear got the nickname, and he says he didn't get his dollar, but he got a nickname that would last a lifetime.
That's true. And I watched the SEC Network excerpt of them talking about Pearl Harbor and Brian on his way to interview for that job at Arkansas. How he was likely to get it. I mean, there's so much history within the conference that we have to be reminded of, and I thought that was, again, just a cool memento in tying in with this conversation.
Ty, great to catch up with you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy homecoming at Fayetteville. We'll visit next week.
Thanks, Ty.
Appreciate it, guys. I almost broke 100 today. I was close, so I missed it by about 8 or 9 strokes.
You're getting closer.
Getting close.
Get closer, man. Get closer. I just need to go with you. I feel like I'll hit it if I go with you.
We will soon. Thank you,
Thanks,
Ty.
All right. See you guys.
Ty Richardson with us from ESPN Arkansas. And we got the Battle of the Bones in Birmingham tomorrow. I was talking about that I'm going to go out and eat barbecue tonight in Alabama. Okay, all that's for second place. We know the best, and we know the best is right here in Memphis, and two of the great locations. It's the commissary, the new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown, perfect for a big group to go watch any of these games this weekend. That Memphis-style barbecue and ribs done the authentic, slow-cooked Memphis way. Begin that barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the smoked chicken wings, or where the barbecue nachos were invented. That's a staple of sports everywhere now. It started with Walker Taylor and his staff in the early 80s at the commissary. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Then dig into the ribs or the shoulder, chopped or pulled on a plate, on a sandwich, all the sides, and the best desserts you can think of, like the lemon icebox pie, the banana pudding, and that strawberry cake. And for the holiday season, the holiday bird. Get on the list. Get on the list now. Check it twice. Check it for Thanksgiving. Check it for Christmas. Here's how you get on it. 901-754-5540, or go online to commissarybbq.com. In Collierville and Germantown, those party areas, orders to go, catering, tailgating, and always time for the holiday bird. 901-754-5540, or online at commissarybbq.com. Every day this hour is brought to you by Hewlett and Dunn, and we are so very honored to have Charles Hall with us. Nobody can tell that story better than he can. Charles, we love talking about you started working there in your teens, and now with your wife Laura, what a team y'all have made. Y'all own the place, and we appreciate you so much. Tell our listeners just exactly what they can see on that historic square in Collierville.
Yeah, well, of course, those of you that have not been on Collierville Square, it is the most beautiful square. It may not be as large as one like Oxford, but it is definitely the most beautiful and quaint square around. It was awarded as the best main street in America back a number of years ago by Parade Magazine.
Wow.
And it has only gotten better since then. So come
it
out
really
and
is.
visit the square. It'll be decorated for Christmas soon. And while you're here, stop into the store and do some shopping.
It really does look like a movie set out there, and then when you get inside Hewlett & Dunn, and you've got all the boots, you've got all the Western wear, but you have so much more. Tell our listeners about all that they can enjoy there, like the belts, like the best duckhead collection around, including the shirts and the boots, the jackets, the caps. You've got it all.
Yeah, like I said, people think of us as just a Western store. And we're so much more than that. So much so that I actually don't even advertise that we're a Western store anymore, because the vast majority of our clothing is not Western. We don't carry brands that the typical Western store carries. We carry Filson and Barber and Pendleton and Duckhead. So a lot of really high-end, well-made, bold companies that make great products that people don't normally associate with a boot store.
Mm-hmm.
And it's jacket weather. It's the time of year to buy one, isn't it?
It is. We're getting fooled a little bit today and tomorrow. We got fooled into a false sense of security with fall coming, and of course it's around Memphis, so it will heat up on you real quick. But hopefully that'll drop back down, and it'll drive people into some jeans and pants and jackets and vests and things.
Charles, I got to ask, I've got a buddy who has a birthday coming up early November. I've got a brother that I'm going to have to do some shopping for Christmas around the corner. What is most popular in your store right now? What do you see a lot of people coming in and grabbing, especially, like you said, with the weather changing, we're getting closer to winter. What have you seen flying off the shelf?
Well, I mean, of course, this time of year, your cowboy boot sales, just pick up. People put away the shorts and get out their jeans and realize their boots are worn out and they need a new pair. And so the boots are always a huge seller in the fall, by far our best seller. But while they're here, like I said, they're catching on to some of the stuff we're carrying and buying a lot of clothing that they did not expect to purchase when they came through. They just really came for boots, and they leave with Duckhead pants and Duckhead shirts and Filson shirts and so they end up, it's kind of a trap. You come in for boots, and we'll get you with more.
Yeah, that's right. Charles Hall with us from Hewlett & Dunn. We appreciate them being a sponsor of this hour every day and for what they've done around the community there on the historic square in Collierville. All right, tomorrow for all the area teams, Tigers with a big game, Mississippi State, big game, Tennessee down in Tuscaloosa, Ole Miss in Auburn, homecoming at Arkansas. Those hats, you've got every team covered, don't you, Charles?
Yeah, well, I did. May not have them all covered now, but I had certainly all the ones in this part of the world. I had Tennessee and Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and I do still have some Memphis State ones. Please forgive me if I call it Memphis State. It's always going to be Memphis State to me.
By all means.
And I had Arkansas, but I think now all I have left, I've got Memphis State and Mississippi State left. I don't think I have. Well, no, I do have some Ole Miss ones left, so I still got quite a few of you covered.
No, that's what you like to hear in business. They're flying off the shelf. But, Charles, thank you so much for everything y'all have done and for being with us 5 o'clock every single day. And thanks for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. Y'all come on in.
Thank you, Charles.
Will. Thanks, Charles. I'm serious. I've got to do some shopping. I got to head over to Hewlett & Dunn. I got a buddy. His birthday's on the 10th of November. I got to shop for Connor. I'm definitely going to have to go over to Hewlett & Dunn and get some presents for those guys. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we've got to make some picks. It will be time for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. That's next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. serving the official barbecue of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. Five Ash Roofing, the name to know. Five Ash Roofing, the only way to go. Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Five Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee, Forte PE 678 6055, MSRP 21610, Nero P5017859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5017859, MSRP 49687. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/23 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, the weather's getting cooler, but the deals keep on getting hotter at Gossett Kia South. What you got going on, Jeff?
Only the best deals you'll find on your new Kia, Randy. I've got 41 MPG highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 do it signing. I've got EV action with a 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 do it signing. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 do it signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Old school jewelry stores here in Memphis don't like what Genesis Diamonds is doing, but regular folks here are asking what took Genesis so long to get here. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and Genesis Diamonds is a game changer. More selection, higher quality, extreme value prices like you never knew existed, top designers, non-commission experts, and ironclad warranties. Genesis is the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. The owners are Tennesseans. They've dominated the jewelry scene in Nashville for nearly 20 years. Their store here at Poplar and Perkins Extended will blow your mind. Diamond rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, thousands of engagement rings, colored gemstone jewelry. It's a jewelry superstore with no pressure, no games, and no phony pricing. Also, you've got to see their amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. Pristine watches in pristine condition, value priced. They have all the hard-to-find models in stock. So what are you waiting for? Hit up Genesis Diamonds in Poplar Commons at Poplar and Perkins Extended. You are going to thank me for this.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis, 901-498-5763, or the office in Collierville, or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
We've talked about it all week. It gets started early tomorrow morning, just like we like it, with stuff that we like locally and nationally. And locally, it starts with the Memphis Tigers, 11 o'clock on ESPN2. Memphis, a 6.5-point road favorite We know what that means. Tigers should win this game. They're at UAB, and for the Battle of the Bones, and I'm glad of it. Last meeting was in 2012, 46-9, Memphis Tigers win. I don't even know how they got the bones for a little while, even for media days and picture taking. When you win it, you get to keep it. But never hurts to be a nice neighbor. Tigers averaging 33 points per game. UAB averaging 30 points per game. Tigers 88% in the red zone. UAB 76% in the red zone. Tigers have forced at least one turnover in 19 of the last 24 games. UAB leads this series all time, 10-5, and they're 10-4 in their new stadium tomorrow in Birmingham. Your pick, Bryant.
Well, my brother's going to be at this game tomorrow. One of his friends is a student at UAB, so their whole friend group is going down to that one, and I think that him and his buddies will be coming back to Memphis happy, along with the Tigers, who will be coming back with the bones, because I think the Tigers win this game. I think they take care of business. I'll take them minus the 6.5.
I'm scared of this game.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to pick the Tigers to win the game, but not to cover the spread. The Tigers win somewhat of a wild one, a nervous one. They win 31-27, but they don't get there with the 6.5. And I don't want to hear anybody picking apart a win next week after they win the game. 11 o'clock on Fox. Ohio State 4.5 over Penn State at the Horseshoe. Ohio State leads 24-14 all-time, 6 straight for Ohio State in this series. They played in the 1980 Fiesta Bowl. It was a Penn State win. 11 100-yard games in his Buckeye career for Marvin Harrison Jr. Ohio State 39-18 when game day's there. 12-3 when Big Noon's there. They're both there tomorrow. Penn State 11-game win streak, all by at least 4 points. Drew Allar is the only FBS quarterback with 150-plus pass attempts and 0 interceptions in 2023. Penn State straight up 24-14 over Ohio State.
I love it, Brett. I'm right there with you. And for me, this comes down to a couple of factors in my book. Ohio State has been pretty banged up, especially at their weapons, running back and receiver, the past couple of weeks. And even if some of those players play, I don't believe they'll be 100%. Then my next thing, it comes down to quarterback play. And frankly, one of these quarterbacks is much better under pressure than the other quarterback. That would be Drew Allar, who has been pretty good under pressure, while Kyle McCord has really struggled under pressure. I think when pressured this year, he's completing about 30% of his passes. So if Penn State's defense, that's been really good this year, can put pressure on him early, it could be a long night or I shouldn't say night because it's first thing in the morning, a long afternoon for Kyle McCord. I'm going to take Penn State. I'm going to take them straight up. A big, big win for the Nittany Lions.
Group lock straight up for both of us taking the Penn State Nittany Lions. We love those helmets and those uniforms that will be on display tomorrow for both sides. 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, Ty Richardson mentioned it, homecoming at Fayetteville for the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks a 6.5-point favorite over Mississippi State. State winners of 7 of the last 10 against Arkansas. They're 3-1 in Fayetteville in that stretch. Arkansas all time in Fayetteville. Arkansas 10th out of 14 in the SEC in scoring. State is 8th out of 14 in the SEC. Arkansas leading rusher, 239 yards. A.J. Green, that right there tells you a lot of the season. K.J. Jefferson, 18 touchdown passes, 13 interceptions. On the defensive side for Mississippi State, Jet Johnson, the only SEC defender averaging at least 10 or more tackles in SEC play. I think a low-scoring affair. Arkansas wins, but State covers. Arkansas wins 21-20.
I think for their own good, Arkansas needs to cover this game tomorrow. Nothing against Mississippi State. I'm with you. I think this could be a really close competitive game. But like we were talking about with Ty earlier, the fans are already a little disgruntled. If they go into that game tomorrow and it's close or a loss, they're going to be ready for basketball season, and they're going to leave football in the past. So I think they need to go win. I think they need to win big. I think they are aware of that. And so while I have them covering, maybe only by a touchdown, though. I think they could win by 7 points.
another loss or two, and with deer season approaching and apathy setting in, the Arkansas last game of the year in Fayetteville against Mizzou, there could be more people at the Duke basketball game than at the Mizzou football game. Tomorrow, 2:30, third Saturday in October, Alabama 9.5-point favorite over Tennessee. We know what happened last year. Tennessee got the big win. They deserve to celebrate. UT only allowing 17 points per game. They've allowed the fewest touchdowns in SEC. Only 2 touchdowns in the last 7 quarters. Biggest margin Tennessee's ever won by in this series was 27 twice, 1969 and 1995 when they beat Alabama and Birmingham 41-14. How big a hole does it take to bury a red elephant? 41-14. Last time UT and Bama didn't play was 1943, and sadly that could end with the new scheduling. Coach Nick Saban, 76-11 in home SEC games. Bama minus 9.5. I'm continuing my theme kind of locally. Bama wins, but Tennessee covers. Bama wins 24-17.
Brett, you're sneaking games in on me. This was not on my card that I received from you earlier in the week.
Sorry, Brian.
But I am ready for a pick regardless. I'm right with you. I'm gonna take.
That was late on a Wednesday night. Please forgive me.
I forgive you. Hey, you know you might be trying to.
I'm sorry, Brian.
This could be like Michigan Gate. You're trying to get some extra points on there, try to sneak in a game. No. But I'm gonna pick Tennessee to cover in this one. I don't necessarily think they're gonna win the game, but 9 points against this Alabama team. As much as I respect Nick Saban and what he has done, especially for bettors in recent years, really his whole career, I think Tennessee keeps this one close and they cover the 9.5-point spread.
6 o'clock on ESPN. We have all the action right here, starting with me and Gary Darby at 4 o'clock on Ole Miss pregame. Ole Miss 6.5 over Auburn. We've talked about it. Ole Miss only 3 wins ever at Auburn. Peyton Thorne is Auburn's leading rusher and passer. Ole Miss, one of 6 FBS teams with 2 AP top 25 wins, Tulane and LSU. That should hold up, shouldn't it? Jackson Dart, second in the SEC and 7th in FBS in total offense. These 2 teams met in the first Liberty Bowl in Memphis in 1965 after Bud Dudley moved that great game to the South. Ole Miss is going to win the game, but it's going to be like it has been. It's going to be narrow. Ole Miss wins 24-21, so I guess that give me Auburn in the 6.5.
I'm going to go a little off the wall here, and I don't even know if I believe this one when I pick it, but I'm going to go with Ole Miss here, minus the 6.5.
You're trying to get cut out of the wheel at home, or you took Tennessee and Ole Miss?
Well, yeah, I very, very true. If my father's listening, please forgive me. But please don't have all of my things out on the curb when I get home. But I'm going to take Ole Miss in this one. I don't think Auburn does really anything particularly well offensively. And for Lane Kiffin, going up against a former Ole Miss coach, I think he wants this one. I think he wants it bad, and I think they cover the 6.5 spread.
Oh, I'd love to be able to hear the pregame chit-chat at midfield between those two. Now, remember, they met 2 years ago when Hugh Freeze was at Liberty, so we already kind of got that out of the way, and I think Hugh Freeze was really glad to get that day over with at Liberty, and I think everybody will be ready to get to about 10 o'clock tomorrow night. My college football lock, give me Oklahoma minus the 19.5 over Central Florida, and my college football shock, all those points at home for Michigan State plus the 24.5 against Michigan. You're lock and shock.
Let me get to my lock and shock in just a second. Another part of this that even gives me more faith in Ole Miss, all of the Auburn hire gate over the offseason with him taking that job. We sure did. So maybe I really want to hand it to him in that game. For my lock, I'm going to go with Iowa. I understand this game could be 10-7, the final score, but I'm going to take Iowa minus 3.5 against Minnesota. This offense just finds ways to win. They find ways to cover, and so I think even though it could be a very low-scoring game, they get the win against Minnesota.
Then.
Exactly. We want that, but hey, honestly, more than anything, I would love for this game, the total to end at like 20 or 21. That would be beautiful. My shock, I'm going to go with Utah plus 7.5 on the road at USC, continuing to fade USC. That defense cannot stop anybody. If you're giving me more than a touchdown, I'm just going to have to take the other team, so I'll take Utah.
You got it. In the NFL, noon on Fox on Sunday, Baltimore minus 3.5 over Detroit. They've only met. This will just be the 7th time all time. Baltimore leads 5-1. Lamar versus Jared Goff. Give me Detroit 24-16 over Baltimore.
Yeah, I kind of had this one earlier with my bingo card, but I think Detroit wins this one. I think they cover, and I think they win straight up, and I think Monday morning we're going to be having some serious talks about how good Detroit is.
Also in the noon window, also on Fox, Tampa Bay minus 2.5 over Atlanta. Low scoring, 17-13, Tampa Bay over Atlanta.
I'm going to take Atlanta in this one. I think this could be a game where Bijan has a really big game, and they either win this one or keep it really, really close. I'll take Atlanta.
And Sunday Night Football, 7:20 on NBC Sunday night, a great matchup. Philadelphia minus 2.5 over Miami. Speaking of not playing very much, they first met in 1970, 9-6 all-time Miami, just the 16th matchup between these two. Give me Miami to win 38-28.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go with Philadelphia at home. Right, they're at home in this game, right? It's in Philly. I didn't get that wrong, did I? I think that's right. Let's see. Yes, they're at home, so I'm going to take them at home. Miami's kind of been a different team on the road. I'm going to take the Eagles with kind of all this momentum they have, and I'm going to take them to win and cover this 2.5-point spread.
My NFL lock is Las Vegas minus 3.5 over the Bears, and my shock Cleveland, a really tough team, plus 3.5 at Indianapolis.
For my lock, I'm going to take the Packers minus 1.5 on the road against the Broncos. I just have no faith in this Broncos team. And then for my shock, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts at home against the Cleveland Browns. I think this could be
we got blood.
You're
there.
right. We do. I think this is going to be a letdown spot for the Browns after that win against the 49ers. I think the Colts, a lot of people looking at that Anthony Richardson injury, but Gardner Minshew has shown that he is a very capable quarterback. So I'll take the Colts.
That's our Friday football forecast picks brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, now firmly in West Tennessee. Stable, secure, solid customer confidence off the charts, whether it's in Eastern Arkansas or now in West Tennessee. And for any real estate need, contact them for commercial, ag, hunting, recreational. Contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763.
Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up this week with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure for fast, powerful nighttime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. NyQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks NyQuil High Blood Pressure. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
Here we grow again. Metro Builders is accepting applications for project manager, sales, and even a couple of crew openings. Visit MetroBuildersMemphis.com today to inquire about our openings. We are an equal opportunity employer, drug-free workplace, and are growing rapidly at our Memphis office. Metro Builders is looking for team players that want to learn and grow in the construction industry. We are a roof and restoration company. If you have a huge drive, want to earn a great living, and enjoy working with an enthusiastic team, call Metro Builders today at 901-375-1717.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, about an hour or so ago, Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted that Duke head coach John Shire has agreed on a 6-year contract extension that would carry him out through the 2028-2029 college basketball season. So right before the start of basketball, Duke has locked up their newer head coach, a season under his belt, and it probably couldn't come at a better time because currently on a visit to Duke, number 1 player in the class of 2024, Cooper Flagg. It sounds like his recruitment will come down to Duke and UConn, but now he knows for a fact, UConn's coach ain't going anywhere, but he knows for a fact now that Duke's coach ain't going anywhere.
Well, that's great. I guess losing a second-round game to Tennessee gets you a fresh new 6-year deal.
I guess so. How about that?
What's Rick Barnes getting for beating Duke in that game?
Good question.
Has Jay Billis quit crying about how physical that game was? Has he quit crying yet?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him. I haven't heard from him since then. He doesn't do anything outside of basketball season.
What I learned is we got a good one going in the ALCS. The champs have fought back to tie it 2-2, and they lead 2-1 in the bottom of the 6th. The Diamondbacks trying to make it interesting in the NLCS. Thriller, 2-1 over Philadelphia. Best played games are 2-1, aren't they?
Sure
the champs aren't going away. Unfortunately for Texas, Jordan Montgomery and Nathan Eovaldi can't pitch every game.
Unfortunately, they cannot. And who would have thought before the season or before the Cardinals traded Jordan Montgomery to Texas that he would be a massive part of a team that is only a couple wins away from the World Series?
I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either. What I could have done without... I don't really know. I guess I could figure out why this I couldn't do without, because it's actually really good news in terms of the city of Memphis. This was tweeted out earlier today by James Larson, who covers the USFL and XFL, the spring leagues. Developing multiple sources have indicated that there is a strong possibility that all 8 USFL teams will survive the USFL XFL merger. A 12-team league could feature just 4 XFL teams: St. Louis, D.C., San Antonio, Antonio and Arlington would be the likeliest organizations to survive. Now, that's great news. I love that. I want no more than this, this league to survive and flourish and add teams and Memphis be a part of that. But I want some answers soon. I'm ready to get ready and get amped up for next year's Showboat season.
Go over those XFL cities again that are going to make it through.
Well, this is just what he is hearing. This is not set in stone or anything, but what he has heard, the likeliest teams to stay from the XFL would be St. Louis, D.C., San Antonio, and Arlington.
Okay, 2 of those 4 were original USFL towns way back when.
Really?
Washington had Craig James, lured Howard Schnellenberger from the U to coach them, and Rick Neuheisel was the quarterback of the San Antonio Gunslingers.
Wow, all right.
Yeah,
how about that?
A long time ago. I could have done without this. I'm not taking a shot at him, but really, Lou Piniella on a Hall of Fame list for his managing skills. Just say, baseball, if you win one, we're going to put you in the Hall of Fame, because that's what this is doing. Cito Gaston deserves it. He won 2. But Lou Piniella won 1, and he won it mostly with the team that Peter Edward Rose built. Can we even say Pete Rose around any Hall of Fame talk?
Oh, that's a good point.
Piniella won it in 90 with the team Pete Rose built.
Wow. That's a good point by you. Where are you beaming tonight?
This weekend, Jordan-Hare Stadium tomorrow for me, maybe for the last time. Auburn not on the Ole Miss schedule in the years ahead. Could be a while before get back down here. 4 o'clock pregame, 6 o'clock kick right here with Gary Darby. I'll start it with him at 4. David Kellum, play-by-play. Harry Harrison, analyst. And John Darnell, number 4 on the sidelines.
Well, I'll go with where I'm beaming this weekend as well. I wish I could beam to 2 places at once, but that seems a little tough. So I'm going to beam down to Birmingham, Alabama. Memphis versus UAB. The Battle of the Bones is back, and I want to take it in all of its glory. Memphis on the road, a 7-point favorite. We'll see what kind of start we can get from UAB. It was really no start the last couple of weeks, really all season, but when you go back to these last 2 home games against Boise State, you get into a 17-0 hole, and you really can't do anything against Tulane either. So I want a faster start. I would really love for the Tigers to win the coin toss and say, we want the ball first, and be super aggressive and get some points on the board early.
Tomorrow, John Rice Plumlee at quarterback for Gus Malzahn. For Gus Malzahn playing against Dylan Gabriel, his old quarterback.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's 2023,
it sure is.
And it's late on a Friday.
It is.
The nervous energy at Fayetteville for both sides tomorrow, for State and for Arkansas. It's must win for both. Only one can.
You're absolutely right. It should be a fun weekend. Let me remind you about this weekend here on Sports 56. Tomorrow we've got complete coverage of Ole Miss at Auburn. 4 p.m. is when that pregame starts, and we'll have that entire game and postgame. Sunday we've got triple header, Bills at Pats, Chargers at Chiefs, Dolphins at Eagles, all right here on Sports 56. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all of the action, and we'll talk to you again Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock.
When you're watching the Tigers play, or whatever team you support, you always look for the end result, the winning score. And when you're thinking of selling your home, the ultimate goal line is the closing table. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. Getting your home sold for what you want and when you want it makes everyone happy. You should talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers when you're thinking of selling your home, and make sure I'm one of them, especially if you want results. Most people have heard that when you want the job done, you need to call Shell Done. Call or email me today and find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Dunn Rosengarten. Call today at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. And go Tigers!
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck, because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. pool tables, and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W2.